People, quick mic check, 1 2, quick mic check. Hopefully we all doing good. Hopefully I can see me. Joe Ethereal in the building. Shout out to you. I'll be calling you Joe the Real, but I'm not even sure how you like to pronounce that. I just go with it. Just go with it. But shout out to everybody in the building. See y'all down there. See y'all making it on here. We got a number of things on the docket we're going to be covering today. Yes. It's true that B Simone, who went viral, got semi-canceled. A lot of people came at her when she made the statements about Martin Luther King, not being great because of some infidelity or whatever. But then when she was talking about Nick Cannon being a serial impregnator, she was like, "He's great. He's such a great guy. He's a great guy." But her whole argument with Martin Luther King was like, "You're not great, my nigga. You don't respect your wife." I mean, so we're going to be breaking down the hypocrisy in that. We're going to be breaking down the hypocrisy in that. So let's go ahead and get ready to go. Let's get it. Another thing on the docket that we will be talking about. Oh, I don't even got that. I don't even got it ready to go. I kind of got it ready to go. What the hell is? Huh. I don't even got that ready to go. Damn. But no, it will be ready to go. It will be ready to go. We're going to be talking about the woman who was on stage next to Donald Trump. A lot of conservative brothers in this space. I'm on that conservative side of the aisle. I'm through with the liberals. She sat there and said it. The Roe v. Wade is a victory for white life. We're going to be getting into that. Going to be getting into a number of things. So shout out to everybody once again. Let's go ahead. Let's saddle on in, strap on in. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
What is up? What's going on, good people? All the people in the building, make sure that y'all hit that like button. Make sure you hit the like button. That let people know that you're here. That helps with the algorithm. Trying to still dot a few I's and cross a few T's before we get things all the way rolling here. Doing a later start time today. That won't be the norm, but it is definitely today. I'm going to be trying to get back to getting on here earlier, but we'll see. But shout out to everybody in the building. Do appreciate each and every. Oh, I know why I can't find what I'm looking for. All right, here we go. Now I got it. Let's see. All right. Sorry, y'all. I had to do some behind the scenes stuff y'all couldn't see. Because I said in the pre-intro ramble that I was going to be talking about the chick that was standing next there to Donald Trump. I forgot if she's a governor, congressman, or senator. I forgot that fast. But she was standing right there next to Trump and said that this Roe v. Wade being overturned is a victory for white life. So I do got some commentary on that. That's the image. Now I'm all out of the frame. That's the image I was trying to pull up. That's the image I was trying to pull up. You see it right there. Those are her 17, I believe her 17 grandchildren. And you see some of them look kind of blackish, even the one that's sitting on her lap. So yeah, we going to get into that later in the show. We got a number of things on the table, but shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Edward Anderson in the building. Did a great stream the other day about the concept that I'm still a little foggy on, but the beta chauvinist. That was interesting though. I listened to the beginning of it. I got the gist of where he was going, but then I had to get on and do something. But that was a good stream yesterday. I definitely recommend it. I didn't see all of it, but the beginning part, the setup to it, I did hear that just to hear his general perspective on what exactly that is. So shout out to Edward Anderson. But he says this actually makes me more annoyed than what she originally said. Yeah, it does. It does. He says this is why you don't listen to entertainers, and this makes it worse. What she said about Dr. King, like I said, just an average looking chick with makeup that is clout chasing. Yeah, I mean, as far as, I don't know if she clout chasing. I don't know. I mean, she got a whole podcast. She got her whole thing. I mean, she it is what it is. It is what it is. Anybody got a mic today, and I can't criticize the game because I'm just anybody with a mic. So that's why I can't criticize the any and everybody get a mic game because I'm benefiting off that game too. So I'm not going to get in the business of saying people shouldn't have mics. But Minister Jab did say something as far as YouTube. He says YouTube should charge something like $300 a month for people to live stream on YouTube. Yeah, that'll cut out a lot of people who probably need not have a mic. That cut a lot of them out. And then the people that you hear speaking are, even if you disagree and they saying stupid stuff, they are actually, content creators who willing to invest some money in it, But I don't know. But either way it go, we can't get in the can't get in that snatching the mic business. But I think you mean bitch babble. Is that what you talking about? But yeah, we about to go ahead and get right on into it. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button. I don't even got to play the original thing. I mean, I will cycle back to it. I don't even got to play the original commentary of what she originally said about Martin Luther King. I will cycle back to it because that's kind of the old news. The new news is when she was talking about Nick Cannon very recently, when she was talking to Nick Cannon with one of his baby mamas. Nick Cannon trying to build a whole tribe. He's trying to put up numbers like the guy that was in that picture with like 33 kids, like 17 baby mamas. Nick Cannon trying to put up numbers like that. That's what Nick Cannon is gunning for. He might go all the way, but that's what he's gunning for right now. I think he's got like 9 kids, 9 if you count the ones on the way. I think 9 or 10 if you count the ones on the way. Maybe like 6 baby mama, something like that. So he's going for it. He got a lot of time left. He gunning for the crown. He gunning for the crown, no doubt about that. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. And when I heard, B. Simone, who I don't even know that much about. I honestly don't know that much about this chick. I be talking about some of these people and I don't even know that much about them. I just know that when I hear, supposedly famous people touching on a lot of the topics that we talk about here, I tend to react to their nonsense. But I don't even know that much about her. I just know when she said what she said about Martin Luther King, I was just saying that, okay, I can tell it's some fakeness in her whole dramatization that she was going through about, Martin Luther King not being great. You're not great, my nigga. She all like that with Martin Luther King, because he cheated on his wife. The movie Selma did depict it in a way like she was at home crying about it, but the people close to it, this is a lot of articles that prove this. They said that she was never like that about it, and whenever anybody asked her about it, she covered for it. She like she's quoted in magazines saying, "Nope, none of that didn't never happen. Don't believe what them white people saying." So she had United Front. She was she was on board. She was on code with it. Like her on the record, she's on code with it. So that tells me that she understood, that she knew what was going on, and she wasn't tripping. She's married to a man who was a great man, who was fighting for freedom, justice, liberty for black people. And, when he out, traveling, marching, doing his thing, if he get a little strange on the side, she wasn't tripping. He fighting the greater good. She respected it. That's what I gather from, her essentially trying to spray cologne over it whenever she was asked about it in an article. Whenever she was asked about Martin Luther King's infidelity, she denied it. To this day. all the way up until the end, she was like, nope, that's some bull. So, but when you hear somebody like B. Simone talking about it when she was going off, you're not great. You just all right. When she was doing that on the basis that he cheated, I'm thinking, okay. She's drawing a hard line. She's taking a moral position on on promiscuous men. So I'm like, okay, whatever. She could take that position. She on some bullshit, but she could take that position. She is welcome to take that position. You can't take that away from her. That's what she think. But as I always do, I give it a little time. And when it came time for her to talk about Nick Cannon, who's a card-carrying serial impregnator, slanging community semen, but the woman ain't tied to him. The women are free agents in his situation. They basically, the women, they basically said, and you're going to see here in an interview, where she basically said, no, I do my thing. I do what I want to do. But, Nick Cannon, I call him. Anything I ask for him, he drop it off. He give me, basically, he's sending that money. I got his baby. He's sending that money. Then B. Simone flips it around then. Oh, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. If you're in a structured situation where the woman is tied to and attached to the man, then they're going to talk about him, a man, being a little sexually promiscuous as, oh, he's a horrible person. You're not a great guy. You're not a great father because you don't respect the mother. Y'all remember what she said? But if you're a serial impregnator and aren't putting any restrictions or any, what's the word, standards or code of conduct or anything on the woman, if the woman is essentially free, if the woman is essentially free to do what she want to do when she want to do it, how she want to do it, she just got your baby and your money, then they good with that. But if you attach to that man via marriage and you got to conduct yourself a certain way, oh, no, they got a problem with that. That's the difference that you're going to hear in this conversation. And why is this not moving? Hold on. Let me start it over.
So we all know who she is.
All right, here we go. We doing
Talking
something.
about Nick Cannon. Okay.
We got some action. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I love Nick. Nick is such a great human. I literally called him when I was cancer.
All right, here we
So
go.
what you say this relationship? So we all know who she is. She is talking about Nick Cannon. Okay. Nick. It's like Nickelodeon. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love Nick. Nick is such a great human. I literally called him when I was canceled. I was like, they trying to kill me, man. He was like, you gonna be fine, B. Simone. You know, he's just always like that mentor, that big brother you can go to. So respectful, so just a great human across the board. And we even got him on the podcast. We talked about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, I don't believe in that. And I don't believe. So what is, I'm not even gonna say, because on Facebook, when it's like in a relationship, single, complicated, like what is, like how does it work with Nick Cannon?
Yeah.
And
or where did
like,
it start? Because you said 10 years on and off.
Yeah.
So how did y'all's relationship start?
I actually met him years ago through mutual friends, and I went to watch Wild 'N Out. And then we met.
Keep in mind before we get into the story with the baby mama. I don't care that much about that part. Bree, whatever her name is. See, I told you I'll be knowing some of these people sometimes, but just keep in mind how she has an open-minded approach when it comes to Nick Cannon, a serial impregnator who sends the check, who goes on about his business, drops off the seed, sends the check, and then goes on about his business. It's a, well, how does this work? Or how does this, is it an open relationship? Is it just, it's like, it's just very, very nice and peaceful. He's a great guy. He's so great. He's so this, he's so that. He's so big brotherly. Just how does it work in the situation? Like that's her whole energy. That's her whole energy. We're talking about a card carrying serial impregnator. And keep in mind, I'm not even knocking Nick Cannon, because it do get to a point where you can have a certain amount of money where you can just do what you want to do, and your money could make up for it. There's some problems in doing that. It's some problems in doing that. I went off on not went off, but I talked about how Men's Health magazine was basically advertising, being a serial impregnator, because they had Nick Cannon on the cover and was talking about fatherhood, and we can't put a certain specific type of bow or ribbon or title or we can't put fatherhood in a box. There's so many different types of families. You know what I mean? They were doing that with Nick Cannon. In Men's Health magazine, they were basically saying that, yeah, if you just spreading your seed far and wide, and they're basically saying that's good, that's cool. That's basically what they were saying in Men's Health magazine. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's healthy at all to be, giving that many women power over you. I've said it once, I said it before. Future is going to end up in a situation where, his career ain't going to be what it is now. He's going to be making less money. And that child support is going to stay based off what, the max he could possibly make. And he's going to find himself in a situation where he's going to be out on stage, tap dancing, rapping, singing, dancing every night just to break even and pay child support. That's how the story ends for these dudes who think they rich in the world. They got the world, everybody in the world just eating out of their hand. That's how the story ends if they don't manage that shit right. That's so no, I'm on some that shouldn't be promoted even amongst rich men. But at the same time, I do understand, when you're rich, you can get away with certain shit. I do get that. So I'm not being the moral police on what a rich man does with his money and his seed. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing out some things, pointing out a number of things. But let's get back into it. Let's get back into it.
At night, went to dinner, and then it ended up talking ever since then. I came on like probably a year later. I ended up doing Well and Out, and it was more like Danielle and everyone being like, you should do it. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah. I don't care. And that's when we were in LA. Yeah. And it was cool, but I was just like, all right, whatever. This is like a here and there thing. And like him and I would be on and off just because obviously he is who he is, and you see how he moves and you know what it is. Yeah. So you're just like, I don't know about you, whatever. Yeah. But like, as well as you know him, like he's just such a good, great fucking person that you're so attracted to him,
and he's honest. He doesn't hide anything from,
and that's very much how I am, and a lot of people do not like that, and they do not like the bluntness or what you have to say. He's a little bit more.
Notice B. Simone is just nodding and everything and very agreeable. Nick Cannon, he's just a great person. He's just a great person. Oh yeah, he's honest. They're excuse me. I had one of those situations here where I had to sneeze, but it went away. So if I was if I was large on the screen like this, y'all would have saw me sitting here. Y'all would have saw me winding up to sneeze, but it didn't come out. I'm glad y'all couldn't see that. but yeah, just notice what's going on here. I don't even know if y'all got the clip of when she was talking about Martin Luther King fresh in your head, but I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna roll that in a second.
More strategic and sweet with the way that he does shit.
You're like, I just
to
say
it. Yeah. But he's just like such an interesting human. So it's like, above all, we were really close, like really good friends. Above anything, like he'd sit here and tell me about whoever, whatever. And like we've just always had that relationship, which I think is something that lacks in a lot of relationships. That people can't discuss like past things or whatever.
Or current things. What they're currently feeling.
And we would just get straight to it. So it was just, I don't know, it's just a very different relationship. And so I know a lot of people got all butthurt when I posted twin flame, when I posted our maternity stuff. It's, if you know the real definition of a twin flame, it's not your soulmate. It's the same person. Like we are literally the same human. Wow. So for our interactions and our communication and just everything, there is no room to argue or fight or disagree because we literally have the same beliefs and everything.
Wow. And what is that belief system? Do y'all believe is it it's not a monogamous relationship, correct? Is it polygamy? Is it open relationship? Is it we'll never get married?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of one of those things where it's like it's not necessarily anything. It's like this is just us. This is our relationship. And what you do outside of that is what you do outside of that. And what I do outside of that is what I do outside of that. Everything.
Notice, remember when we always talk about on this show how chicks will be they'll be a side they'll be a side chick, but they'll fight against polygamy or polygyny or anything like that if it's some degree of structure in it. But if it's something with a lack of structure, then they're all for it. But either way it go, we're seeing the difference where it's basically like as long as they're getting babies. And we talk about this how the wool that they pulled over our eyes, they made us think that all these women, they just want to be married. They want the kids, they want their husband, the kids, the picket fence, the 2.5 kids, and the dog. The whole story. They make it seem like that's what they all want. But then when you listen to them talk, you listen to a lot of them talk. Hashtag not all, but you listen to enough of them talk, you find out that yes, they do like being single. Yes, they do prefer to be single. This is the article that we covered earlier is called Strategic Singlehood. They are doing strategic singlehood, but they also have, a biological clock. They do want to have a kid by a certain time. So eventually they do find somebody willing to just toss up some semen to them. And if that person willing to toss up the semen is somebody who has a lot of money, who's going to foot the bill and pay for everything above and beyond, to them, that's the jackpot. That's the jackpot. That's solid gold. That's 100% ghetto gold right there. You got the baby and you got money and you don't got to be attached and can do what you want to do. That is the overwhelming difference for when you look at B. Simone being so agreeable in this conversation, but when the idea of Martin Luther King, his infidelity came up. And it was like, no, you're not a great dad. You're not a great man. You weren't a great leader. You wouldn't a great nothing because you wouldn't committed, attached, and monogamous to that woman. When it came to Martin Luther King, it was a whole energy change. But when it comes to a serial impregnator who's dropping off community semen and money, it's a whole different dynamic that we're hearing in the conversation. Because that was these two right here in the conversation when it was heated. I'm about to play that a little in a little bit just for throwback purposes.
It's respectful. Everything is honest.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like we don't really define it, but it's like you do your thing, I do mine. But like same kind of thing, and I've said this before, and I've seen it come up a lot, is where it's like I'm only worried about my family. I'm worried about my home, and everything outside of that isn't my business, and it doesn't really bother me. And it genuinely doesn't bother me. There's a lot of women that can say, whatever, but I'm happy with, all of my needs are met at the end of the day. Okay. And if I want, so what my favorite thing about Nick is if I want something, I ask for it. I never have to ask for it again. I never have to say the same thing twice. I never have to, whatever. I want more time. I want to do this. I want to do that. Sure. And he's just there. I don't know how he makes time to do any of this shit, but he's there and he comes through. And all of the things that you like.
Indigenous Weather says, Bernard, it wasn't just his infidelity. MLK was an evil dude behind closed doors. B. Simone is a simpleton, so she's just looking at the superficial to draw her conclusion about him. Dude, you're being a gynocratic goon right now, okay? That's what you're doing. You're being a simp enforcer, at least a gynocratic goon at most. Her beef and her problem with Martin Luther King was his infidelity. Whatever type of bad person he was behind closed doors, she wasn't talking about that. She literally said he did not, you're not a great dad if you're not being faithful to the mom. You're not a great man if you're not being faithful and committed to the mom. It don't matter what else you do great. If you're not completely attached, faithful, committed, and monogamous to this woman, you are trash. You're not great. That's what her argument was. That's what her argument was. And the inverse of that is her praising Nick Cannon, who's not doing an ounce, an iota, or anything of what Martin Luther King did. not doing half of what he did. I mean, he's making money. He's an entertainer making money, and he's going around, spreading the seed far and wide with women and footing the bill. All I'm saying is it's a complete energy change. And if you want to say that Martin Luther King was lying and cheating, then again, I go back to what is the articles that I haven't had to dig up and drop the link to them in the chat. My bad for not having them ready. Anytime anybody bring that up, Coretta Scott King, I hope I got her name right. She denied it. She said it ain't happened. She said it ain't true. She covered for it, which means she knew about it, which means she wasn't tripping. If she all the way up to the very end would cover for it and deny it and say, don't believe what the white folks saying, that means that she was on code, she was on board, she knew what it was, she wasn't tripping. He's saying her argument is simple. So okay, you agree with B. Simone. Put on your pussy hat. Okay. All right. Her argument is simple. MLK was a borderline predator, way beyond just cheating. That wasn't her argument. That wasn't her argument. That is your argument. That is your argument. I'm calling out the hypocrisy and fuckery of these women who could go in on MLK for cheating, for having sex with multiple women, but not go in or not have a problem with Nick Cannon, who's also having sex with multiple women, getting pregnant, being a serial impregnator, and but long as he footing the bill, they good with it. I'm pretty sure Martin Luther King, who wouldn't serial impregnate, I'm sure his wife was taken care of. I'm sure his kids, they had a home. They had a roof over their head. They had food, water, electricity. I'm sure they had a stable, comfortable life other than just the normal craziness in the 50s and 60s. But they're looking at him as a problem. They're looking at Nick Cannon as a hero. And I'm breaking down the psychology as to why. And you'll want to run interference for their BS to bring up some stuff about Martin Luther King that ain't had nothing to do with what they were talking about. You're doing the same thing that the Strags do when they come in here and try to bump the table and knock over the chess pieces and throw off the conversation. You're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing. Y'all don't realize it. Y'all don't realize y'all be doing it. I'm gonna start calling it out a little more, but y'all be on that. Y'all be on that. Shout out to Black Wolf Inc. in the building. Shout out to Black Wolf Inc. in the building. He says, get them dams up. I get them get them likes up. Salute Captain. Play my music. Shout out to Black Wolf Inc. in the building. Shout out to Black Wolf Inc. Appreciate you coming through on the super chat, and appreciate everybody who supports the stream. Everybody who supports the stream, appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate each and every one of you.
Worry about other people, like none of that. Like
that's something I can respect, though. Yeah. The honesty. Honesty.
Like if you're gonna live that life, be honest.
Be honest. Yeah. If more people walked in their truth, you can actually date people that believe in the same thing you believe in. I believe in monogamy. If you don't believe in that, go fuck with Brie. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't date me. Go date another woman that believes in that, which is a beautiful thing if you are truly fulfilled and happy.
Now, again, the open-minded thought process with that should have carried over to her whole little criticism of Martin Luther King. She should have asked a simple question. Okay, what was Coretta Scott King's position on this? That should have been the question. And it takes a minimal amount of research to find out, oh, she was kind of covering for it. She had nothing bad to say about it. There's no evidence or reports of anybody close to it. That a lot of people have commented on it, and none of them would say that, that she was walking around sad, crying, or upset about it. She never said anything about it publicly. It was an on code united front. An on code united front. So you can extrapolate from that and say that she, didn't care. was in on it. But you can't depict a man as a monster. If that was a situation, and there's no evidence that she was tripping about it. There's no evidence that she was tripping about it. But it seems like somebody who just spoke this very open-minded thought process that B. Simone just spoke right there. It seemed like she across the board would have kept similar energy, maybe not even the same energy because it's not the exact same situation, but it seemed like she would have kept similar energy. But how does she go from that? How does she go from that? Well, I'm sorry, from this right here. Hold on, give me a second. How does this happen? Hear her talking about Nick Cannon and then hear her talking about Martin Luther King.
How are you a You're a strong black man.
Look at him.
He's such a boss.
He's a boss.
Look at that man. He's a boss. He's a great father. Look at him, that strong black man.
Look at him being at his kid's game.
But you're cheating on your wife. You're not a good husband. But he's great in all these other aspects. How are you a great leader, a great CEO, a great black man? You're not great. You're not great. God, you're not. That is triggering.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm a good dad. You're not a good dad because you don't respect me. How the fuck you showing these kids you a good father and you don't respect their mother? You're not a great dad, my nigga. You're an okay human.
Someone being a good person to you means they're a good person.
Notice the difference. Martin Luther King versus how she talk about a card carrying serial impregnator. Notice the difference. Notice the overwhelming distinct difference. Shout out to, who did I see in here? Yeah, saying she controversial for attention. You got pastors today to be on the same shit that is out there. That she has not said jack shit about. It was about being controversial for attention. See, that's an element of it, but I don't know if it's just that. I don't know if you could just call it that. But see, the reason that I don't just call it that is because for the same reason that Future had to separate himself from Kevin Samuels. If you understand what I'm saying. After Future did a video of Kevin Samuels, and then he was in an article in GQ magazine, he said he wasn't really aware who Kevin Samuels was. He said, if I was aware, I probably wouldn't have done that with him because of, the reputation of being toxic. It's like Kevin Samuels is toxic and cancelable. He's talking about marriage. Yeah, he giving the chicks a verbal lashing, but at the end of the day, he is talking about marriage. At the end of the day, he's talking about family. At the end of the day, he is talking about structure. He is talking about, what it would take to bring everybody together. But because he's criticizing the actions, behaviors of women, but he's applying structure to it. He's criticizing their actions and behaviors and talking about things that need to change or things that need to be different or why things went wrong, versus Future, who says all kind of toxic, horrible stuff about women, but he's okay with it. He good with it. He party with it. He's a serial impregnator who foots the bill. For that reason, Future's okay, Kevin Samuels is bad. One person criticizes, one person talks shit about them and criticizes their bad behavior and wants it to change. One person just talks shit about them but don't want their behavior to change. The person who doesn't care about the behavior, don't care about the actions, that's the person that's okay. That's the person that's good with them. In order to the whole gynocratic thought of it, Future good, Kevin Samuels bad. So you could just look at that and draw parallels here. In order to the whole gynocratic thought of it, Nick Cannon good, somebody, and even Martin Luther King, bad. That's the parallel that I'm drawing right there. Because one of them is a serial impregnator who foots the bill, who pays the money. He gives them the semen and the money. They got everything they need. They get to have their kids. They get to have their family. I said it once. I said it again. A woman do not have to be attached to a man to have a family. She just can get to see the man. If he wants a family, he has to typically be attached to a woman. That's why, even though regardless of what they tell us, it be men who be wanting families more so than women. Women, they want those families late in the game when the clock running out. Then it's okay. Then they want to settle down and make the right decision and get attached to the right person. But when they for the most part, no, they don't be wanting that shit. They don't want that shit. They really be operating a lot like men. They really be operating a lot like men. It says any other group she pulled that move on, she would not be seen anymore on TV. Look at what Nick Cannon tried, and look at where he had to do to get back in. Oh, you talking? I think you're referring to when Nick Cannon said something about the small hats. Theo, new YouTube member. You been a member. Why do I say new YouTube member? You must have upped your pledge or something. I don't know. Shout out to Theo. Appreciate you coming on through. Either way, shout out to you. But yeah, no doubt. Now, other thing as promised. Where we at with it? I know a lot of y'all saw this. I know a lot of y'all saw this. Let me blow this up. Let me put this on the Jumbotron. Hold on.
For the historic victory.
All right.
Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday. President Trump.
Yeah, there it is. That was said with President Donald J. Trump standing behind her. That was said. What's funny is that it sound to me, because them rallies for Trump be there. It'd be loud. It'd be like a damn football game. Jackie Jack, get out of there. She didn't. No, she didn't. Jackie Jack, no, she didn't. Hold on. Let me make sure I put my headsets on right to make sure that I think Jackie Jack trolling me.
On behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
No. 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 Oh, she meant right to life. I don't know. That's good. That's a good one. I don't know who they found. I don't know what DC fixer they had to come and try to, what kind of publicist. I don't know what publicist got to work real fast. Be like, no. You didn't say a victory for white life. You said a victory for right to life in America. We don't believe you. You need more people. No.
On behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
Okay, the statement right life don't make any sense. A huge victory for right to life. That makes sense, but she would have to botch the word right and say white and then drop the word to. I think it's unlikely that she dropped a whole word and botched one word. Now, I'm somebody who mess up all the time. I make a mistake a lot and may say left when I mean right, may say up when I mean down, may say women when I mean men. I do that a lot. I might make a mistake and say white when I mean black. I do that a lot. It happens. Bare minimum, she was thinking white. It's funny. I mean, I'm not even put it like this. This is where I'm at with it. This is where I'm at with it. Get out of there, Paul game with that Bernard Mayweather. This is where I'm at with it, though. All right, we got Weather in the building. He said, it's a victory for innocent life, period. White, brown, all lives matter to God and should matter to us. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Thank you for the super chat. Do appreciate that. I agree with that. And we can put some blackness on this. The fact of the matter is, yes, we know black women out abortion everybody percentage wise. We do know that's the case. So it stands to reason. And I did find it was some data that put out there. I think Fresh and Fit and Rolo Tomasi were the ones that did the ones that I know of that presented the data to show that actually is women with higher income are the ones that get abortion the most. But then again, that could be playing with the percentages too. So I have to look into that a little more. But the fact of the matter is, Black life. If Black Lives Matter, it seems like that would be something that would be said. And this is the direction that I want to go with that. Let's just assume that she said what she said and she meant what she meant. She just rocking out with her cock out, grabbed her nuts and said it. Yes, it's a victory for white life. That's why we did it. 26%, 26 states have the white replacement rate, how many white people dying versus how many white people born, that their 26 are below that replacement rate. They got to get that up. They voted for policy, a lot of liberal policies that that's going to have white people being a minority in the country real soon, 20 years or so, 20, 25 years already. You look at the kids under the age of 8, white people are already less than 50%. So as the boomers die off and those kids get older and they become 30, 40, then white people are going to be the minority in this country due to immigration policies or lack thereof, and the fact that Mexicans and blacks are out reproducing and all that. Yes, okay, Edward, I give it to you. You did say this. You said, I told y'all that's why they did it when it was hinted at or leaked, and all y'all conservatives disagreed with me. I still got some disagreement with that, but I can't look this in the face. I mean, I can't just not look this in the face, say that she said that, but there is a replacement rate issue. But I mean, my thing is, if they were worried about that, they would tighten up immigration policy. So clearly at least half of white people in this country ain't worried, or they're so ideologically blinkered with the Democratic Party that they're like, whatever we got to do, because we know these black and brown people are going to vote Democrat because we're the party that at least mouths the platitudes that we're going to give them what they want. We're going to give you more welfare, and we're going to get J-Rock and Nuck out of jail, even though Trump was the one technically doing that. But either way it go. The fuck, don't come in here with that bullshit. Hold on, dude. Don't come here with that. I don't know what buck dancing is, but it don't sound right. I'm timing your ass out. I don't know what the hell buck dancing is. Oh, yes, I do. Wait, no, I don't. I don't know exactly. How are they different issues altogether, though, Ed? How are they different issues altogether? If we're talking about white people becoming the minority in this country, immigration policies have something to do with that. Them not reproducing at a high rate, that has something to do with that. That has something to do with. So they're different issues, but they are connected. If the goal in making in lessening the amount of abortions, because they didn't make it illegal, is just we understand how that works around here. State to state. It's going to be state to state. Red states, you probably won't be able to get one. Blue states, you probably will be able to get one. Okay. RM with the definition. Bernard Riley, she says, buck dancing, a type of folksy tap or soft shoe dance common in the southern U.S. states during the slave era. Okay, yeah, so I timed them out for a good reason. And that was from Urban Dictionary. Yeah, so I timed them out for a good reason. Because one thing I don't do, I don't tap dance. I'm nuanced, I'm objective, but I stand on I'm going to be objective. I'm going to be objective to the point to where I'm going to cover the story that flies in the face of something that I previously, talked about. I said it's not about that, why they are tightening up, cracking down on abortion. This Freudian slip makes it seem like it is about that. The fact that I'm covering it means that I'm willing to just, walk through the truth wherever it lead me. I'm going to walk through the truth wherever it lead me. See, that's why I don't like the whole, don't say that I'm buck dancing or shucking and jiving or nothing. I'm going to walk through the truth wherever it lead. And right now, her Freudian slip or straightforward statement does speak to what they're thinking on their end. But here's my question for us. If Dr. Umar Johnson was to say that overturning Roe v. Wade, and keep in mind, if I understand it right, I think Dr. Umar is pro-choice. That's an interesting question. Can you be pro-black and pro-choice? Can you be pro-black and pro-abortion? Can you? Can those two things coexist? Because you look at the strictest amount of pro-blackness, if they're going to be getting on dudes who getting with women of other races and making babies and making families with them and saying you're taking away the black population, the black family, you're breeding us out, you this and that. What, they got to be pro-life. They got to have that same energy for all the chicks at the abortion clinic. I'm just saying. So can all those Democrat voting pro-black dashiki wearing cats, can they seriously be pro-choice and pro-black? How could you be pro-black and pro-murder of black unborn? Paul Game says, yes, they both can coexist in the mind of a maniac. I know Al Sharpton is pro-choice. I do know that. I was thinking that the internet person, the internet pro-black who's not bound by, political talking points, jargon, and mumbo jumbo. I was thinking that one might be a little more staunch down. I was thinking that one, like the Umars of the world, I was thinking that he might be pro-choice. All right, Ed, I got you. Check your email, Ed. I'm sending it to your email because I ain't trying to open the floodgates, but I do want to get you in on this one. But okay, well, as I send you the email, let me get to my question. I'm gonna table that one. Can you be pro? I'll say that one for Ed. Can you be pro-black and pro-choice? But the email is a coming, Ed. Just give me a second. But here's my thing. If Dr. Umar Johnson would have said, this is a victory for black life, would anybody think it was racist? I'm going to up the ante on that a little bit. What if Barack Hussein Obama would have said, after Roe v. Wade just got overturned, what if Barack would have stood on a stage and, like, I've always been pro-choice, but this is a victory for black life because black lives do matter. If he would have stood there and said that, if Barack Obama would have said that, would anybody call it racist? Would anybody make it out to be a big deal because Barack Obama looked at the what is it, 20 million black babies, that black people that are not here due to abortion. If Barack Obama looked at that and said, this is a victory for black life, would people say that it was racist? Would they? I'm not debating whether or not he would say it. I know he wouldn't say it. I know he wouldn't say it. But I tried to go all the way up to the A list and put it out there that if Obama said this is a victory for black life, would people be tripping? Damn it, I can't send an email and talk at the same time. Here it come, Ed. I'm sending it to your Black Source Codes Gmail. All right, there you go. I sent that one to Ed. Any outrage about this from black people is hypocrisy. I knew I could count on SKC to know where I was going with this. Because we would not care. Nobody would care if white people would keep quiet about it and black people would not care. They would just be like, yeah, that's fair point. But that's the thing. And listen, it is what it is. White people are not allowed to have white nationalism, and it is what it is. If whenever they talk about their proudness and their whiteness, and we see we see white hoods and burnt crosses. That's just is what it is. Hey, history is history. It ain't our fault, but that's how people see it. But if something is taking a lot of black lives and something comes that's going to make those black lives stop being taken, and a black person says this is a victory for black life, nobody would call that racist. A white person looks at that and says, oh, yeah, this is affecting us too. This is a victory for white life. Instantly, everybody in there got a white hood on. But shout out to SKC. Shout out to SKC. Weather in the building says, Hoteps are dumb. We have to start treating as such. We have to start treating them as such. They have no room for logical connect, real world consequences, and functionality of our community. Thank you. Our community, indigenous, you've been shape shifting lately. I thought you was a let it burn dude. Our community, logical connect, the real world consequences to the functionality of community. Okay. All right. Well, he didn't say our community, but shout out to SKC. Shout out to everybody in the building. Man, we are joined by Edward. Oh shit. Okay, you got a little background. Background.
What's up?
All right, good. What prompted you to come up? Was it the can you be pro-black and pro-choice? Was that the one that prompted you?
No, just the whole conversation. I mean, I was in there for the chat, so I was really had this on mute because I was doing something, but I got some time. I will say fuck B Simone.
Oh yeah, we passed that. That was just the opening thing. I just wanted to get off my chest. Yeah, I saw that hypocrisy. I was like, let me go in and touch on that. But this is what I really wanted to talk about too.
But I'll leave it at that with the B Simone thing. I'll probably try to. I need to start getting back to doing upload, so I'm probably do upload for that. So I appreciate that. I'll reference you. It's how I found that. But yeah. So as far as the pro-choice thing, I'm kind of in the middle myself. I'm really indifferent to it. I mean, honestly, I look at it from a very pragmatic standpoint. We've lost population numbers because of this, and women have demonstrated to me that they don't know how to handle the right in the first place. So I said it for a long time, for years now, that women need to lose their right to be able to do that because they don't know how to handle it. And also, if men cannot walk, and then this is where also says, but I've said this too, and a lot of other dudes believe this, that if men can't walk away from the responsibility, then women should be able to either Like they have that moment with it. But going specifically to what you said here, as far as what she said with the white life, I get what SKC is saying on hypocrisy, the outrage he's white folks are thinking, and not just the crazy alt-right conservatives. But it's a confirmation. So now people want to play all lives matter. All lives matter means all. I know it doesn't. I mean, we know how they think. We know what it is. And I'm not saying, you don't have to believe in racism to believe that they're going to do what's in their best interest. And abortion, the reason I brought that up the first time was really to highlight that it's ironic that white men really are what really got the abortion campaign started. Like a lot of, wealthy white men, a couple of wealthy white men, elite, and then Margaret Sanger was kind of one of the main promoters of it in the front, because then they realized, okay, we could tie this to feminism. Then as that was emerging into the wave that it was going into, we could get that through, which is where the my body, my choice bullshit comes from. And ironically, they created this for themselves, because the idea was, from a eugenics standpoint, with Margaret Sanger's standpoint, was to minimize the black population. From those white men's standpoint, they were more concerned about being able to, rather than having bastard kids out there, giving women an out for their own sake. And kind of like how the Pookie and Ray Ray wants abortion to be legal, or not Pookie Ray Ray, but a lot of black men, so they don't get caught up with women they were fucking, but women that have a kid. And so
wait, hold on, let me make sure I heard that right. You said it's a lot of men who,
but black, because you have the argument
black
out
men,
there, and it's not bad.
Wait, hold on. You're saying they want it to be legal just so they make sure that they chick that they messing with on the side, or just a random skeezer they hook up with, make sure she can go get rid of it. That's your okay, yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. I mean, you're not bad for that. That's a pragmatic reason to be pro-choice.
Yeah, no, I get that, but one thing that I do say, and I pulled up the data on this, across the board, generally, if you take away the grape and all of that out of the equation, I think something like 53% of men are pro life, and like 48% of women. So I do like to point out, even though this is a side note thing, I do like to point out that men and women are almost equal on that. So it's like, women like to make the argument like men are trying to, like, these evil men are trying to force this on us because they want to control our bodies. That part of there, that's bull crap. That's fake news. But yeah. So damn. So yeah, you said a lot of stuff I wanted to get back to. But overall, your general point is that yes, they are doing this whole abortion thing because they want to try to preserve white life. Here's the issue and the problem I have with that. I think that they are, when by they I'm talking about white folks, are really divided on it, because I think the Democrat liberal white people, I think they're a mix of, they want Democrats to win and have power, so they want a rainbow coalition because they think that's more votes for them. And then there's the other ones who really believe in this "we are the world, we are the children" shit. And so they're not even looking at America in the sense that they're going to lose it in 50 years when white people are down to like 40%.
No, I hear what you're saying, and you're not wrong. I mean, so because even amongst the political, because the thing about it is, white folks can wear Republicans, and because even when it comes to Republic, you can be technically a conservative Democrat. Like Joe Manchin is an example of that, even though you don't see a lot of that. So but a lot of white folks will even let the conservative and liberal bullshit, because there's races amongst all of them. And I'm not saying this is inherently racist, but the thing is, you have those goofy folks that are liberal, that they're too fucking, either they don't care or they're too fucking dumb to even foresee that. And here's the thing why that's a big problem. This is where the conundrum comes in. You can't promote that without being seen as racist. You cannot do what she did. See, the problem they have is a marketing problem. Mm-hmm. Is they can't really say that out loud. They can't take control. There's different communication pipelines. Like, for instance, they could push this in the church, but the liberals aren't in the church like that. You see what I'm saying? They can't connect with all white people using the mainstream airwaves without being obviously seen as racist. You can't use the secondary like radio airwaves because that's also split. So this is one of those things where really they need to get with Democrats, because most of the Democratic politicos understand this. They need to get back and then see this needs to not even be a the idea would be for this not to be a political issue, but you can't do that because the Republicans run on this, the Democrats run on this. So really, they're in a conundrum as to how to convince at least enough of the people that are Democrats that this needs to be what it is. But they can't. That's the funny part about it. They can't, and that's the irony. That's the irony of they put themselves in the Chinese finger trap, and so. Because that's really what it is. It's a marketing problem. I will tell you this. A lot of them liberal white folks, they're probably not, they believe Biden doesn't, but a lot of these white folks believe that the replacement theory is exactly that, a theory, even though there is statistical data that's saying what it is. But they'll do what you did, which is bring the immigration argument into it, which is not a real argument for what they're trying to do, because it really has more to do with the numbers. Because it's not mainly about immigration. Well, we just kill immigration, then this won't work. Their numbers are going down regardless. If you remove, let's be very clear here. If you remove 30 years of immigration, this is still a problem. This doesn't not become a problem because remember, I'm talking about since the 90s.
Hold on. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is it a problem because it's some damage that can't be undone, and Trump failed at putting his wall up, and they're not making exact policies to keep other people over? I mean, it's a lot of them when they honest. I mean,
the replacement thing is a global thing amongst white folks. And if you remove all the Arabs that came over here with the war that they did in the last like 10 years with that, and you remove 30 years of immigration, and going back 30 years is when what's his name? What is his name? You know, the aide to Purdue was president after Jimmy Carter. I know you know. Come on, man. Like in the 80s. California governor, the president,
Reagan.
Yeah, the Reagan, because Reagan was the last one to give amnesty. If you remove all immigration after that, and at zero, you still have this problem because their numbers are going down. It's not about the percentage of I get what you're saying. The percentage of their population relative to the country is a different issue than their actual numerical count. Because for a long time, because they count Arabs as white as far as the census doesn't tell the truth. They count Arabs as white. They count a lot of white Hispanics as white. There's a lot of motherfuckers that keep counted as white. Hell, they count black Hispanics as Latino.
I'm sound real ignorant when I ask this question. What the hell is a white Hispanic? I've never knew what that was.
A white Hispanic?
Yeah.
A white So you got look, obviously in the umbrella corporation of Hispanics, you have a lot of nationalities. But if we get past that and we just look at ethnicity, you have really 4, but really 3. You have black Hispanics where they're black, they just niggas that speak Spanish. And I don't mean the Dominicans or the Puerto Ricans. I'm talking about they're black, like as black or blacker than we are. So there ain't no debate with that, right? You got that. It will say, because technically they say Haitians count as Hispanics, which whatever. So you got that. Then you've got and they're spread out amongst all those countries. There's even black Mexicans. Then you have what you would say the more mixed ones. They're mixed with, you have the Indians. So they're like the Aztecs and Incas, the descendants of them, and they have more of that blood. Then you have the ones that are kind of mixed with everything. So they're mixed with the Spaniard, and they're mixed with the black, maybe a little bit Aztec and Inca seasoning. So that's fucked up, whatever. And that's like where you get the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans. Then you have the white ones where they're really Spaniards. So they have a majority percentage of that Spaniard or Portuguese blood. But they speak Spanish. So they would be considered Latino. Those folks can kind of flip back and forth, which is whatever it's convenient. You see the second tier try to do that. Then you've got the third tier, which is like Gina Torres and a lot of, if they didn't talk, they would be Spanish, or they didn't tell you, you would think that they were black, but they'll talk about every once in a while. So that's the four. Really, there's three. There's the white, the black, and then in the middle. But I'll add that fourth one there as well. And so the white Hispanics, like for instance, Garcia is like one of the majority last names in the United States. That's up there with Smith. That's up there with Smith. And so my point is, if they wanted to let go of their Latina shit, they could get away with that. Like, and there's celebrities I could give you examples of this, but they could let that go and they would be white. They would be white. They, like, Italians used to not be considered white, and a lot of these motherfuckers are whiter than Italians are. So it gets thicker when it comes to that. But my point is, that's it. So you have a lot of white Hispanics, and they claim them as white in the census to boost their numbers. If you look at just the Euros, the Anglo-Saxon Germans, the Gauls of France, Germans, obviously Germans, Anglo-Saxon, that's the British Isles, and then the Eastern Europeans, and then the Norwegians, which not a lot of them are really in America. It's not a lot of them. And really, most of them you have is the Slavs or the Russians, which is where the Ukraine shit is coming from. That's really the last real source of white folks. But Eastern European white folks and Western European are very separate. They see themselves as separate. Like the Eastern see themselves as separate than the Western. So they're not really they'll come to America if they can. But you get what I'm saying. So that's why they traditionally don't pull a lot of Russian or Eastern Europeans over here like that, even though that would be kind of a source. So anyway, it goes deeper. And I'm not deep into that. Yeah. I'm just letting you know, this is stuff I've heard white people say when they talk. So they are very aware of this. And if you actually look at white folks having kids and you really think about it, a lot of them be having problems having kids. Like fertility shit. There's a reason there's fertility shit with white folks, and then there's abortion shit with us. Because even with all that abortion shit black women have done, our numbers have stalled more so, but theirs are actually reversing.
We just heard, when Roe v. Wade got overturned, we found out, a lot of black women were talking about how they're dying having these kids and all kind of stuff like that. So yeah, let them tell it.
They're dumb, because if that was true, then they wouldn't be on some, I'd rather have think about it. They called in to Kevin Samuels, which I can't believe somebody shout out Kevin Samuels on BT Awards, but they called out Kevin.
Oh, damn, that happened? Who did it?
I don't know. I know somebody. I know somebody told me. So I need did it happen in my Telegram that would know.
That's what's up.
So I need to get. I'll get you who did it. But the thing is, they're more comfortable having babies than getting married. That's what they said on his shit. Yeah. More than a few times. It ain't something where we're just pulling in. I've heard black women say that. So that's bullshit. When they get that baby fever, they don't care. Another thing, they be dying because y'all bitches. Let me be nice. Y'all be having kids late. Y'all want to have it at 35, 36, 37. Y'all want to have them in your late 30s and then want to say, oh, we dying. No, that's you wanting desperate for a baby because you fucked up. Anyway.
Yeah, listen, that was part of my point with the title topic in the thumbnail and everything, the beginning of the show, that they don't be wanting that traditional family life. They just be wanting that baby. And that's why they look at Nick Cannon and Future as heroes to the community for impregnating women and footing the bill and then going and disappearing. That's how they were like, every good black man should do that.
Oh, yeah, to answer your question, too, that you asked about Obama and Umar, it wouldn't be so much Obama, because Obama has, as far as would he be considered racist? Obama, because he's mixed, because he has a higher profile, because his brand isn't really with that, they would tag him. Umar, they would probably let it go because they would say, well, he's already been tagged with that black nationalist bullshit. So it wouldn't, and then it would be by making it seem like he's racist. You're really elevating his profile more than you would want to. So they wouldn't make that a big deal with him.
Well, real quick. First, shout out to Weather once again. He says Hispanic Latinos are cultures, not races. I think Ed broke that down pretty good. I'm still confused, but he broke it down pretty good. So I just let what Ed said stand.
And shout out to Mr. Research, because Mr. Research, you have a lot of great videos on this. Now, what I'm saying is what I know, but it's when you go into that, like it's like I said, when I'm talking about intercultural dating, I'm not talking about getting like light-skinned Puerto Ricans and Latinas and just calling that black. I'm talking about motherfuckers that are black as we are. But a lot of black people don't even realize they're there in those numbers. In America, the Americas is where in North America is where the least amount of slaves went to. Y'all people really don't believe that. But
that's very counterintuitive to even think about that, because
But I'm just saying the least. So we're not talking about people. Yeah. So I mean, most of them went into South America in the islands. But anyway.
But no, you had said something that we got to touch on this, because you said Obama wouldn't be considered racist. We said that Roe v. Wade being overturned is a victory.
No, I say he would.
I mean, you said he would. I'm sorry. He said he would.
Obama wouldn't. Umar, they wouldn't really make that a big deal.
I know, because you said Umar already has the tag or title of being a black nationalist. But what I would argue is that the majority of black people, I think that's their default. I think their default is that. Like, can sort of on some black nationalists.
No, their default is gynocracy, and they call that nationalism, and Umar is in that. So if you
explain, but break that down. Elaborate on that. When you said their default is gynocracy, they call that black. But I get what you're saying. You're basically saying the whole pro-black movement is really just on some gynocratic black woman is queen.
Well, I mean, even from a national, of course, from a national standpoint, if you look at what that actually looks like, I mean, people assume things with nationalism. They assume shit, but really it's black men doing all of the chattel labor bullshit work, and black women being at the top of that shit. Or you got black male figurehead, or let me say this is how it would probably work. You have black male figureheads that like Boyce Watkins types or Umar type, where they kiss their ass, like kind of like how you see in the church to a certain extent. Kiss their ass, and then the dudes are supposed to listen to them, but really the power behind the throne is really women. So when they talk about that black national, even in this argument, you said it with Umar that you said you think he's pro-choice. Like, how can you be pro-choice but care about black people unless you're worried about what black women would say, not on some paternal, we need to have as many people as possible. I don't give a fuck about what you mad at. You know, the reality is we need the numbers because what we need the numbers. No, but you notice these guys will talk, like you said, about black men dating out. That's see, to niggas like Umar, abortion is dating a white bitch.
That's what I was getting at.
And that's what
I said. Hold on. That's what I said. They need to keep the same energy that they have, even though Umar kind of sideways got caught hollering at a white chick, but we ain't gotta get into that. But anyway, the same energy they have. The same energy that they have for men who date out, marry out, and make kids with non-black women. They should have that same energy. That same vitriol, that same whatever for the women who are aborting black babies, because that's true. Other than good old fashioned, hold on, wait, real quick. Other than good old fashioned dick policing, which is a factor in the equation, that is the reason why they're actually against. That's the reason they're actually against black men dating out, because they're saying that you're not producing and building and creating the black kingdom. You're not adding black life to the black, structure. You're not, that's their argument. That's their argument.
Yeah, I call it genetic gentrification.
Meanwhile, 20 million abortions, they silent on that, and they pro-choice about it. That is wild.
Yeah, and I mean, and by the way, you missed the meeting. We've come up with a formal name for the company behind dick policing. It is called DICE.
What the hell?
Yes, DICE stands for Dick Investigations and Customs Enforcement.
Wow.
So we got DICE agents in this motherfucker, and that's basically the umbrella corporation that houses all of the operations and looking at who black men are fucking and how to bring their ass back to the plantation. So DICE expands all the way to niggas going overseas. They even got some operatives with women that they go overseas just to see what niggas are doing, because we have niggas that have reported that they are starting to see more and more African American women, and these women are actually walking up to them asking them, why are they here, and this, that, and the third.
Wow.
They actually have video footage of this. The counter unit to DICE is called NICE, which stands for Niggas and Coochie Everywhere. So I guess we are aborting these women by way of genetic gentrification, because that's what I called it. I termed that coin about 3 years ago. Genetic gentrification is as you see other groups of women go after black men, or black men couple with them. Like take Christian Hutchinson, for example, where, he picked what he picked, as far as, his life and everything. Like I term that's called genetic gentrification, and how they look, as in you start to see the brain drain of guys that are producers, or guys that are let's just say genetically valued, as women. Because you got to remember, as less men are starting to be economically viable across races, then other dudes are going to get pushed in that pool for people, because things are starting to be more on class. And class, this is going to be more about class. And obviously people will want to be with their own first. But if they can't do that, and it's a choice between going to a lower class or getting a dude, well, then white women will be like, look, the grandkids will look more like me than like you. That's the gambit they play. And that's what I always tell dudes, to pay attention to that shit, because they expect these grandkids to date white folks. They don't bring it up because it ain't no point.
Well, hold on. No, you stumbled on something good, because I had this picture ready to go in DC. I'm gonna read. Well, let me just do DC super chat. But that's Congresswoman Mary Miller right there with her family. So I'm gonna tell them that we got
black kid. That's a cover.
Nah, I see. I count one,
maybe
two,
like three,
4, 5. I see 5 blackish kids in there. But hold on, real quick, because we got to get to SKC, and I got Uncle Stu down there too. Hold on. But DC, thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, brothers, I'm pro-life. I'm happy Roe v. Wade was overturned, but the black community must be on the lookout for the Child Protect Service laws to change. It's not going to change in our favor. Bullshit. Listen, hold on, wait, let me get it off. If I want them to upgrade that. Now I will get mad, because people like to sound fake alarms and say that and try to charge somebody up, or have CPS coming at somebody's house unnecessarily. I mean, if you watched King Richard, you saw the black chick across the street from them sent to CPS or somebody over because he's being too hard on his daughters or some shit like that. He had to explain, I'm raising champions over here. Goddamn right, I'm too hard on them. But so I don't want to see BS like that happening. But some of these chicks do need some CPS card on them, so I ain't tripping.
That'll hurt them. The way black women act now, especially with them having so much custody of the kids, that'll bite them in the ass. Because if we just got to whip out a phone, they're too bold with their shit. You can whip out a phone and just show the footage. And I'm gonna tell you, them guardian ad litems that are other black females, they don't give a fuck. They really don't. But the comment on this, and then I'm gonna fall back to let SKC do his thing. As far as all the numbers, you said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of these people, well, those folks that are in the blackish category, they all have number one, a phenotype, and they had kids with a white person you wouldn't know. Like you wouldn't know.
That's true.
And white women think that, because if you ever ask a white woman that you're dealing with, if you had kids, why are these kids black, or are they mixed, biracial? They're gonna say biracial, and I'm telling you, at best, and I'm telling you, they are playing that gambit. Mr. Research talked about that too, but I also talked about that as well. So they're playing a long game, which is why I always say don't go red pill for black women, only be blue pill for non-black women. And some dudes are cool with that. Some dudes don't care. And if you don't, I'm not here to judge you for that. But you got some dudes, like you see this with SYSBM, that they be under this illusion that you're going to create this like black shit or white shit. It's like mix. It's like, no. They're going to, that's not what they're thinking. Now, it's cool, but you need to know that. And I'm not saying to not date a white woman, but I'm saying that might be something you want to vet a non-black woman for. That's all I'm saying. Don't be absolutely goofy about it. But anyway.
Well, I'll say this. Good old LeVar Ball, the black dad of the year.
Exactly.
He married the white woman, and he's strong in his blackness and all of that and everything. But he got, if you look at how beige Mello is, and then Lonzo is on that beige spectrum too, and they have kids with a white girl. That kid gonna look like a white person with a tan. That just fact of the matter is their kids will blend in as white. So that much is true.
And I hear what you're saying, Pablo. I understand that, but I'm telling you, because you're told that mixed kids are black. That's what we're told. And so like with the one drop rule and the law they created. So we can play that bullshit all back and forth all day. But you know that they didn't let these motherfuckers be biracial when it came to the laws they were creating a long time ago when they wanted to be mixed. So that's just some stuff that they say up front. But I'm telling you, you start to have conversations about this, especially if you're in a long-term relationship, they're not going to want to fuck with you like that. Because they go, okay, you know a little bit too much. So they know you're going to be fighting on this versus just go. Like, I'm telling you, because black men don't have these conversations. Black men do not have these conversations.
All right, we'll okay. Well, I want SKC to kind of comment on this, but I mostly want him to comment on whatever prompted him to come up. And I see you down there, Uncle Stu. I'm bringing you up because I do want to pick your brain on the can you be pro-black and also pro-choice. I'm sorry, I got you on that one, Uncle Stu. So I want to practically get you one-on-one on that because I think you will have something.
But I said what I needed to say, so I'm gonna hop off and get into the room.
No, actually, don't leave it. I just had a counter to one of the things that you brought up earlier. You were saying the whole thought about that it wasn't that black people were some type of racist or something like that, but it's more or less they're pro gynocracy.
No, what you call it said that they were nationalists. I said
nationalists.
When you think of nationalism, you think of patriarchy. Like I actually just did. That's the definition of chauvinism has a patriarchal and male dominated thing about it. So I wanted to make that clear. Well, let's not act like that's really what they're going for when they do that. Even the people that talk that shit. So no, they're really gynocratical. Go ahead.
And I actually agree with you, but I'll add to that by saying that on making the claim that the gynocracy is the most racist group in America.
I might not say the most racist, but I will say that like when you hear motherfuckers, and by the way, when you hear motherfuckers calling other black, this will feed into your argument, by the way. But when you hear other motherfuckers calling black women of other cultures, like in Latin America, dirty feet, like that shit makes me want to slap the shit out of somebody. And you got dudes that will say that, and you're only saying that to get points from black females. So I've seen where you're talking about, but I wouldn't say the most.
So how would
wait a second? I don't want to get off the scent of where SKC made the statement that what did you say? The black people or gynocratic,
as using Ed's terminology, the gynocracy. My claim is that the gynocracy is the most racist group in America.
Make the case.
I would say someone make a counter. Show me how there's any other group that is not as racist as the gynocracy.
You can't make a case.
I don't. I think I agree with you. I just want you to just go ahead and lay it out.
The gynocracy there is no terminology that the gynocracy can use that is coined as racist in any way. And that goes back in like the late 70s, where the gynocracy entered into educational institutions, and they set up the power dynamic that you cannot be a black racist person. Those are the rules that they set up.
Okay, so here's where I'm gonna count. See, this is where this
hold on real quick, just for that record, SKC. I don't like talking about having these type of discussions with you when you got the white baby up there. It just throws me off. But anyway,
the other lady, she had black children. I mean,
okay, and see, this is because this is a serious thing.
Go ahead. Back serious.
Number two, but another thing too is racism requires power, and the gynocracy only has power against other against black men and to a certain extent black women. That's number one.
Okay,
they are hold on. Now you're about to cut me off.
Hold
on, let me finish it.
Hold on.
They are pretty much a buffer class, micro buffer class to the black community. And when it comes, you say where did that come from? That only comes from white folks. You remove that if that element is, if they stop funding it, because it's not realistic for them to be removed. But if they stop funding it, that dies down almost instantly. That only comes from them. And the problem is that they have basically used that as a class warfare tactic with other white folks. Which is why white folks talk about, I don't want to be treated like a nigga. This goes back to the abortion thing, where a lot of that stuff is basically kind of barked back at them in a way that they didn't really think. So when you say, and number one, number two is, I wouldn't use the term racism because there's power necessary for racism. I would say they're the most prejudiced, absolutely, but I'm not going to say racist because racism requires power. They can only impose, like for instance, Jennifer Lopez just said that if Goldman Sachs she said this to a white man's face, it was like a business tycoon or something. She said that if you're going to give black women like 100 million or a billion, whatever the fuck they were talking about, 10 billion, like over the course of 10 years, then you need to get at the Latinas, because Latinas are a growing population, demographics, like economically, that makes more sense to do that. And then black women are upset. Well, black women can't do shit to Jennifer Lopez. So their power only is for certain things. So it's not so much racist, it's more prejudice. Yeah, they're prejudiced as hell. Absolutely. But I wouldn't use the term racist.
Yeah, I disagree, and I think that whole idea of including power in racism is some I would say
it's the difference between racism and prejudice.
It was like it's like an idea that came up.
So what's the
during
difference
like
between
the 60s and the
prejudice
70s.
and racism? So what's the difference?
And I'll give you an example. Just breaking it down to a one-on-one level. I'm a black dude. I attack I don't know, some other race of woman. I beat the crap out of her and she dies. I used my power based upon my personal hatred for that group of people. What do you call that?
I mean, that's not. I mean, that's.
Oh,
murder.
That was just a prejudice attack.
Wait, Ed, hold on, wait, real quick, Ed, do you literally make the argument that black people can't be racist?
I don't make that argument. I never make that.
Then we don't.
Even in this argument, I said that quote unquote racism power is mainly internal as far as how it's deployed. That's what black men get the brunt of that shit. Black women, like for instance, let's take the gunshot thing. Black women are starting to shoot black men with this handgun bullshit. I don't give a fuck if a white man is beating the living shit out of them. Let a black woman shoot a white man and see what's gonna happen. She's not getting off. I hear what you're saying.
But they're not gonna come out with that and state, based upon your I would say your definition of it. We've had cases of black people who have attacked and killed other races of people and stated that their exact reason for doing so was because there was another racial person. So they are literally using their power to end someone's life.
Yeah, but that's not what racism is. Racism is, can they get away with doing that? Can they get a lesser sentence than they otherwise would for that reason? Can you show me that a black man can harm anybody in this country? Hey, fuck that. Let's make it easier. That's obvious. Can you show me where a black female can harm any other person other than another black female or a black man and say that and get away with it? That's what you would need to show me.
Sure. Summer riots of 2020.
You telling me one person one way?
No. It happened over and over and over and over again.
Summer riots of 2020?
Yes.
And they did not get punished.
Where black people were killing people.
And they didn't get punished. They
got
on January 6th.
You even had politicians that were going up and stating where these black people were doing certain things, destroying stuff and destroying businesses, destroying lives.
Those are the
and they were getting funds to get out. What are you talking about?
That's funds. I mean, so here. Dude.
That's literally getting away with it.
Dude, that's not getting funds. Did they? So you're saying they didn't get prosecuted?
No, they did not get prosecuted.
They did not get prosecuted. You're talking riots and you're saying killing people?
Yes.
Or are you saying riot, nigga? Bring that shit
up. All right. Yeah,
no. And Bernard, I want to have this conversation. This is why this becomes a problem. Because and this is where this like there's a difference between showing the mirror to black people's bullshit and then you completely taking like the sleeve of the country and then saying we're just going to inverse this and say there's no such thing as racism unless you're a black man or unless you're black. That's literally what you're doing, and this is where I can't tell whether you're being serious. And then to preface that, you're basically taking one thing in 2020, which is riots, and you're trying to basically overwrite like 300 years of consistent history. That's literally what you're doing. And now, hold on. And that works. No. See, the difference is that works on niggas that are in this pro-black box. But I'm not in that box. Yeah, I call fuckery no matter what it is. So if you need to believe that black people have this black privilege that allows them to, I'm then why the fuck is what's it called, Zimmerman still living? Whatever. They got this black privilege where black people can kill people indiscriminately, even if it's under the guise of a riot. Then go ahead. If that's what you need to believe, go ahead and believe that.
I'll take it outside of the bounds of a riot. How about this? How about this? I'm not talking about belief.
Let me hear this, SKC, and I'm gonna try to put a bow on this because I see where
remember,
it's going off the rails.
Y'all were the same people that were telling me
I'm not talking about
white
a belief.
People weren't trying to replace their replacement rate. So
I'm not talking about a belief, Ed. We can just go by this. Look at the recalling of various DAs in progressive cities and why they're getting recalled.
That's political. That is
those are powerful individuals.
I don't even understand your point, SKC.
Okay, those are powerful individuals who have let black criminals go based upon their race.
That's political. That is nothing. Number one, that ultimately fucks the community.
So that's not power.
Yeah, they're
not a power dynamic.
No, that's controlled power. Number one, those criminals are being let go in black communities. They're not gonna let them motherfuckers go to do harm in white folks' communities. That's why you see it.
What about what happened in Hollywood?
Like I said, you're bringing these little pickpocket places to make.
I'm just giving you examples. That's what you asked for.
No, but there's thousands. My point is, you're trying to make one. Fine, you gave one example. That's an exception to a general
all I showed
rule.
is how that political power is being waived.
So basically, are you telling me? Hold on. I'm gonna ask this one question. So are you saying that black men are more powerful? Black people are more powerful than white people in this country?
I didn't make that. I didn't make that claim.
Are you saying that black? Give me a group that black people
I just showed you how political power was being waived in the
direction
of black people. So that whole idea of you saying that black people can't be racist based upon power. Well, they have power now.
Okay, all right. Hold on. That's a good moment.
So then, black men have nothing to complain about. Then
hold on.
Hold
on. When it comes to some other complaining about racism, we don't have as much to complain about as what a lot of people would lead us to believe that we had to complain about.
No, I'm talking about anything. Because we have power. Because he didn't discriminate black men.
Hold on, but this is where I'm at with this. The mere fact that you're not in the camp and Game Changer, check your email. I sent the email, and Uncle Stu about to bring you up pretty much right after I make this point. The mere fact that Ed didn't say that he don't think a black person can be racist, that to me, that makes it to where y'all kind of don't have to have the debate. Like if you was talking to somebody that was saying a black person can't be racist because you have to have power to have racist to be racist, then you could make that case. I think you're giving examples that Ed can generally agree with, that if black people have less power than white people, Game Changer, check your email. But black people have less power than white people in this country. But a black person can still get a gun and walk into Walmart and say, I'm only going to shoot white people. He just abused power in that situation to off some white people. So, and that, I mean, once somebody agree with that point and they can say that, yes, that is a racist person abusing power, then it's not that much to debate about. So what Ed is saying is that, and he's generally true. I mean, it's that when it comes to systematic power, when it comes to that, white people are more advantaged. You got a jury of your peers. You got a white judge. They're going to be more lenient when they see a white 19-year-old who did a break and entry and say, oh, he's a kid. But they see a black 19-year-old, they're going to say that nigga knew what he was doing. So that white kid might get, a year, and the black and the grown black man who's also 19 might get 2 years. I think that happens. That's a human element in the system to where so so that still exists, and so because of that, Ed can make the point that yes, they have more power in the system, but he's not making the point that you can't be racist if you're black.
And my thing is, you have these. Here's a problem. You have these narratives, and people like to think that they're not pushing a narrative in it of themselves. They think and black men got to stop being so counter what shit is that they start falling off a damn cliff. You know, I mean, because at this point it gets to the point where why are we even here doing this? I'm not talking about racism. I'm talking about the gynocracy shit. Because if you got power to do that to other groups, then you got power to do that within your own group. So then the question becomes where, like, for real though. And so
I mean, there are situations where black people do got power to do stuff to other groups. I just talked about a guy I worked with. Actually, Charleston White, if I got his name right, said he do that. He said he used to go work for a company and then just go in there and then learn a little system, read a little book, and figure out a way to sue him and take $50,000 from him.
I heard what he was saying.
I know.
Hold on. That's not power.
Bullshit.
Oh, I got a question. Hold on. Let me ask you. No, what Charleston White said was they are breaking known laws, and he's able to exploit that. That's not power. Like the laws have to be on the books, and he has to show that they're breaking that. Now, whether certain people choose not to do it because they want the job, then that's one thing. But that's not power. Power is in changing the laws to make it so you can exploit that, then exploiting that on the back end. That's not power. And see, that's the problem. Black men got a false sense of what power is, which is why we're in this goddamn situation in the first place when it comes to our women. And that's something I talked about yesterday, and I need to go back into. Yeah, I mean, if you're saying.
I understand what you're saying on the definition of power. The power is not. I mean, listen, it's some power. Look, I worked with a guy, and he just went in there and charged up a company on his word that they were racist, and I have reason to believe they weren't being racist to him because of the time I worked with him that they weren't being racist with him. But he came in and told me, "I'm gonna sue these crackers. Watch." And because he pulled up to a job making $12 an hour, he pulled up in a Cadillac truck. And I finally went on and asked him, dude, how you get that Cadillac truck? He's like, oh, because I sued them last crackers I worked with. He sued Chrysler and GM. He worked with them. He sued them on a racist lawsuit, got a couple $100,000 and walked off with their money. So, I mean, but I understand. I will accept the correction on the definition that the people who making the policies are the ones who got the power. But I don't think they're making. Listen, I don't think that they're buying large. I get you. I got you.
If you don't do shit, that's where the power comes in.
Okay, but it is a power.
That's like saying
they go on. Then why didn't they stop them? Why didn't they say, nigga, get your ass out of here?
Stop what?
The dude from suing them and taking the money.
You saying you're talking?
No, this is my argument. We can't get
consistently do that.
He did it twice that I know of. But anyway, we can't get staunched down saying that we live in a system of white supremacy. When they get caught being white supremacists, we could sue them and take their money.
But understand, I'm the gynocracy guy, dude. So you're trying to see. The problem is y'all try to fit me in these boxes with these other niggas.
I really don't.
Kissing the bitch's ass. No, I'm not talking about you personally, but y'all are talking to motherfuckers that ain't on this shit right here today. And
I'm not trying to fit you in a box, Ed. The only thing I'm saying is like what Bernard was saying, the ability of a person. You're saying that I believe what you're saying is that the guy didn't write those policies, therefore he has no power. All I'm saying is if he knows how to manipulate those policies to his benefit, that is a form of power. Period.
And I would also go even more over and say that a company built and created by a black person can write their own policies, rules, regulations, and nobody can stop them from writing their regulations within the confines of the law, just like nobody could stop that white company or Hispanic company from writing their rules, regulations within the confines of the law. So the power is in that sense is based off what you grab and what you create. So that's why
I'm gonna say this, and I am done. What you all, and this is okay, I'm not gonna say this is sad, but what you all call power, Pink Book, I'm gonna say it in a different way. Pink Book said something that was very profound. and I didn't even think about this. I gotta give her credit. She was talking about Diddy and Young Miami. Young Miami thought, like, women that look up to Young Miami thought that she was getting a lick off of Diddy because Diddy's spending what $100,000 a month on. And they would talk about this in reference to the interview where he said he's single. She talked about we go together, right? The power dynamic. Pink Book said, what you think, he was talking about where we're gonna go. Like, we're gonna go do a wine tasting thing in Mexico, and this is that. And it's like, oh, you getting him the trick. She said, what you think is power for him is a tax write-off. What you perceive as a company, a white company, having to pay some nigga because they got a lick. And I get it. Look, he got a lick. To them, that to white folks, that's a cost of doing business.
You mean, hold on, wait, hold on. You mean to top 1% of 1%ers? Like, let's not just
to companies.
Okay,
well, it's a tax
hold on. Let's
when
let's
they
not
kill,
just,
when black people get killed, when black people
I
get killed, and the taxpayer got to pay somebody just won 25.
Ed,
Okay,
wait a minute, Ed. I'm agreeing with you. I just always like to pump the brakes, and let's not talk about major corporations who generate income in the top percent of a 1%. Let's not take that and call that white folk. That's where I'm at.
Okay, but these are examples that were presented to me. So okay, so I'm just piggybacking what y'all said. But my point is, when I'm not trying to it's racist, but understand when the government chooses to pay 25 million, aka it's really a taxpayer's money, to pay people off and shit, that's the cost of doing business. So yeah, even when it comes to those, let's go a little bit lower. When we talk about the riots and the businesses, a lot of those businesses were black-owned businesses, by the way. But to the extent that there's white-owned businesses, that's insurance money. And some people rather their business get shit. It might have been better for your business to get burnt down than for it to go out of business, because the pandemic came right the fuck after that. So a lot of people might have got off scot-free, and there's a lot of businesses that had to just close and they didn't get the insurance money. And I hear what you're saying. And look, I call out the fucker. I always say this: to me, white supremacy does exist, but black people allow it to run like a well-oiled machine. And until we bitch about what white people are doing, we got to fix all of the unforced errors that black people do, which is why I focus on the gynocracy. And I don't let them use white people to do that. Now, I will acknowledge that black women can't do shit without the overarching society backing that. Just like how we had nothing to do with that Roe v. Wade shit, really. But guess what? They got to deal with the shit, which is the point I made when I originally came up here, that black women are trying to blame black men when it's really not about us. But I mean, I love to have this conversation with you on my channel. I appreciate you giving me all this. I want to let everybody
no doubt.
And I hope I wrapped it up a little bit to where.
No, you did. You made some good points. You definitely made some good points. But,
all right, peace out.
All right, cool. All right, we going to Uncle Stu. We're going throwing it back to the question, the game change, whatever prompted you to come up. We'll get to that, but I do want to go to Uncle Stu on this one because going back to we got a number of topics going here. But the question was put on the table: can you be pro-black and be pro-choice? Can you be both of those? Because they talk a big game about black people and blackity blackness. We black, y'all. They get on the men for dating out and procreating and marrying non-black women, but at the same time, there's people like Al Sharpton, who we know is pro-black. He's also pro-choice. How do you not got the same smoke and the same energy? I think Umar is pro-choice. I think Dr. Umar Johnson is pro-choice, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I heard him say something today that sounds very pro-choice. So I'm like, how can you be some pro-blackity black, we black, y'all, but you don't got no smoke for 20 million black lives being aborted, but Black Lives Matter, fist in the air, all of that, but can you be pro-black and pro-choice? And I wanted you on this one because your old brother, I think you was or is still in the NOI. I mean, go ahead and go and rip on it. You got
it. No, because the whole thing about being pro-black is being pro-life, because that's the whole fight. That's the whole argument. That's the whole multiplication. So there's no way in the world for me that you can be both. And I think that when we tend to only, diverse to the 2% of certain abortion issues, we're looking at 2% versus the over 90%. So I don't think that you can be that. To be pro-black is to look at life in every single area, your education, your welfare, and when I say welfare, I'm talking about economic upliftment. I'm talking about rebuilding, developing social classes that's going to continue to uplift from the bottom all the way to the top. So no, in this situation, for me, nah, I can't stand down with Al Sharpton. I know it's politics, and Umar Johnson, who's trying to call my brothers beta males, but he don't get on the women, But like I said, no, in my personal opinion, absolutely not. You can't. We have to look at this. I think we talked about the 1970s. We have to understand how Black women even got connected with the feminist movement. So we got to understand this originally started as a white feminist movement, and Black women was not a part of the white feminist movement in America. They did not become a part into the 70s because the white feminists did not have the logistics. They didn't have the numbers. So they had to bring in Black women into this movement in order to get their original political agendas even over the goalposts. And so when this issue of the abortion came up in the 70s, this was not, a conversation Black people had. This was not, hey, we think now we want to, start, deleting babies. That was never a conversation. I don't think that we're being realistic. We're having those conversations now, but I explained to people Roe versus Wade was an overreach of the Supreme Court, and that only thing this did was kick everything back to the states. So, whether you're pro-life, pro-choice, or whatever, this is time for you to get your voting card and vote for whatever you personally want to believe. When you look at the numbers, you got to ask yourself a question. If this is health for all women, then why is it that the numbers is extremely high towards Black women? If this is an all women issue, then I ask the question, why now is the marketing and the pushback towards two groups that you claim should be feared? You're pushing one market that says the LGBT alphabet community should fear this, when there's nothing that was written about it. And then you're also saying, well, this may also push back Brown versus Board of Ed. I got a couple of articles, I'm putting up for my tonight stream dealing with this. So why is these two groups being targeted? I think when it comes to the Black woman being targeted, this is a way of dealing with her emotions, dealing with her in an illogical way, but in an emotional way, to say this is a health issue. We have a health crisis, and these men took away our health issue, when this has nothing to do with a health issue. What this issue has to do with is the fact that the Supreme Court overreached in the 1970s. And when they overreached against the legislative branch. And what ended up happening is that there is absolutely nothing written in in the Constitution of the United States, which states that she can have this. Now, that's the only thing the Supreme Court did. They said, look, there's nothing written in the Constitution, but if it's written in your state laws, etc., they're not touching that. So they're basically saying on a federal level, on a national level, we are not outlawing this. If your state allows you to have it, then we're not touching it. There's no federal law to it. The other thing that we have to look at, we're going to talk about pro-choice and pro-life, is we got people talking about I'm ADOS, I'm FBA. Well, then the reason you ain't getting your reparations is because if you look at the numbers of deletions that has happened, that's the number of population that you could have had that could have been on a voting block that could have pushed that agenda even forward. So we got a lot of issues that I think we're mingling together in order to really deal with it. You got to understand that, people like Al Sharpton, people like Umar Johnson, and I'll boldly tell them, come talk to me. Stop talking to your microphone. Come talk to me. Because number one, you're talking about pro-black, but you're not looking at the entire community. You're not speaking to women and trying to get them to understand what really deep down is the political policies that's written, and where are these policies coming from? What is the general motivation? You can't 1 minute say, well, I'm eugenics, and then say, well, we're going to remove ourselves from the woman of eugenics, but the practice of eugenics is still taking place. That's like the Ku Klux Klan coming in and saying, we the Ku Klux Klan, but we're going to remove ourselves from the Grand Dragon, but we're going to keep practicing Grand Dragon ways. I mean, if I'm confused, make it make sense to me. Now I do say that if you want to separate abortion and health issue, I think health issue is a totally different subject. I think when you talk about protection, that's a totally different subject. So we have to be able to really pierce down, dice down, and understand what are these words that is coming at us. What do these words mean? What do these ideals mean? And then we can shut it down. I think we as Black men, we can't really start having a party yet, because there's some other issues that needs to be talked about. Because again, if we argue that only grape and incest, we also got to watch for false accusations that can be targeted towards us if a woman really want to cry that word. You know what I'm saying? So we really got to take the deep dive and begin to even have more of a political policy conversation in what's taking place.
Stu is right on that.
Good stuff.
Particularly on that last part where he stated about the false allegations. And he knows this. He'll probably bring it up during his show. But Jane Roe, real name Norma McCorvey, the whole thing was based upon her claim of being violated. And then later she came out and stated that no, it didn't happen. So it was built on a lie. So it doesn't. It's like, for Black men, how would you even sit on that position, knowing if you on this whole pro-blackness stuff, knowing all of the history of Black men and false allegations towards female violation?
Well, and then
hold on, Black Wolf. Hold on, real quick. Black Wolf Inc. in the building says the power of the dark side in SKC is strong. Good. Let the troll flow through you. All right. But, shout out to Black Wolf Inc. for that super chat. Shout out to Little Big Nate. I saw your previous comment. You said you've been talking to pro-blacks on this for a while. I thought it was definitely a good question. Can you be pro-black and pro-choice? I don't know how they justify that. I just don't. I mean, I'm not even, I don't know how they justify it, but shout out to Little Big Nate.
I can tell you how they justify it. The justification is because you got to remember, you got to go all the way back. What was the whole power of pro-blackness? The whole power of pro-blackness was what? Calling women queens and raising them up and basically making them the god. That's
okay. I guess a better question is, how can they be truly pro-black and also be pro-choice? I don't know. I don't know how they could do that.
And that's what I was explaining. The way they're doing that is because it's an economic thing. You know what I'm saying? So if more of your so-called Black women are looking to pay these guys, because who are they being funded by? They're being funded by women. So they got to go in the political social wave of the woman. So if they're going pro-choice, then they're going to say, okay, we pro-choice because we want our sisters, we want our Black women, as opposed to standing up and saying, no, we can't be in this area. And again, I know that it's very sensitive in certain areas, but we got to understand, where is that sensitivity? Because even in my own home, there's a divide, but that divide is more based on the health aspect than it is on the actual act. We got to understand that, what side are we going to play, and what was the beginning, middle, and the end when it comes to, these different factors.
All right, real quick. I think I got the clip right here. I just want to play for those that don't know, the person who's the reason for the season when it comes to Roe v. Wade. She essentially, she admitted that she made up the story about her being gang raped. For those that don't know, YouTube don't like when you use that R word. Well, I might as well say it because she about to say it in this thing. So, but we put the G in front of it. Hold on. Hold up. All right, let's just hear this real quick. And then we're going to go to Game Changer.
It's Norma McCorvey. I'm also known as Jane Roe, the plaintiff in the Supreme Court case, Roe versus Wade, which legalized abortion in America and changed our nation in an unprecedented way. Back in 1973, I was a very confused 21-year-old with one child and facing an unplanned pregnancy. At the time, I fought to obtain a legal abortion, but the truth be told, I have 3 daughters and have never had an abortion. However, upon knowing God, I realized that my case, which legalized abortion on demand, was the biggest mistake of my life. You see, abortion has eliminated 50 million innocent babies in the U.S. alone since 1973. Abortion scars an untold number of post-abortive mothers, fathers, and families too. You read about me in history books, but now I'm dedicated to spreading the truth about preserving the dignity of all human life, from natural conception to natural death. Jane Roe's story was a terrible one. She said she had been gang raped, gotten pregnant, was desperate to get an abortion. That's what everyone believed, as long as Jane Roe remained anonymous. When she went public, she told a different story.
You were raped while you were in Georgia?
No, I wasn't.
You were not?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, so all those stories that are in the books and so forth are not true?
Yes, sir. Yes.
They're not true.
Right. And it turned out that lying wasn't the only embarrassment this darling of the pro-choice forces presented. In her personal treatise published last year, Norma McCorvey told the story of her somewhat sordid life. Then she still adamantly supported abortion. Now she adds that to the list of sins she took with her into the baptismal pool.
All right, there it is. All right, that's enough right there. But yeah, that's just the story for those that don't know that's where it all came from. That's where Roe v. Wade, that's the reason for the season. It was based on a lie. She said she got gang raped and the whole works. And that's when she went to the Supreme Court and so forth and so on. You know that we know the story from there on. We just heard her backstory and it was all built on some bullshit. But anyway, before we go to Game Changer, Orange Pill Nurse in the building says states' rights have never been good for Black people and history proves it. Dixiecrats, now Republicans, in the 40s championed this phrase when desegregation was on the table. Look which party is all about states' rights today. Interesting points. We'll explore that a little more. I do got to go to Game Changer. Well, I started that when we may come back to it. But
Okay.
Go ahead, GC. What you could take us back to whatever prompted you to come up.
Yeah, it was SKC's comment about the gynocracy being racist. My response to that is I don't believe that they are. I kind of wish that it was, in the sense that racists tend to work to the betterment of their race. And the gynocracy does not in any way, shape, and form. They actually work to the detriment of it. Now, I think that what you're describing is something that's more akin to a hate group. And yes, I would say that the gynocracy is that. They do intend to destroy the men of their group. However, that is more misandric than racist. But no, they most certainly are not racist. If they were, then they would be out having 4 babies to every white 2 babies.
I disagree. The definition of racism doesn't mean that they are smart.
I didn't say that it did.
There's a such thing as dumb racist.
Right. However, racists do work to the benefit of their race, correct?
No, not all the time. No, they don't.
Okay. The intention is to work to the benefit of their race, correct?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, really?
There is a such thing as dumb racist.
No, I know, but the intention, once again, is to work to the benefit of their race, correct?
No, a lot of times it could just have to do with them being xenophobic or having a very small opinion of the world, warped views on values and a whole. There's a long litany of reasons of why they could be racist. It doesn't solely center around the betterment of their race.
Let's put it like this: since we brought in the definition of racist behavior, then anyone could fall in that category. Dumb or smart, if they work to the concern of their race or not. I guess anyone could fall under that broad definition. And by the new modified broad definition that you gave, then the gynocracy would be racist. However, the definition of racism as it stands, and that is to the belief that one race is superior to another, or that one's race is superior to another, they do not fit that particular bill. And that's all I had to say. So Bernard wants to go to the super chat.
Oh shit! Hold on, I'm not even back yet.
I mean, I'll counter, but the idea is that the whole betterment of the race thing being a qualifier of being racist. No, I think everybody in this. I think everybody in this chat has come across a racist individual who they could qualify as no, they're not doing anything to benefit their race.
But their intentions are, and some are just lazy.
No, it could be that they're just stupid.
Or stupid.
So I would just say that the majority of the gynocracy are racist and stupid.
Put it like this. Racist people tend to want to see their race proper over all others, correct?
Okay.
The gynocracy do not wish to see their race prosper over all others. Hence, not racist.
I disagree.
Okay,
excuse me. Wait, right quick. So you're telling me that a gynocratic woman that has 2 bastards and eight abortions wants to see her race prosper over all others?
Yeah, in some weird demented way. Yeah, but above all, they want to be.
What about the gynocrats?
They want to be in charge of it. They want black, but they want to be in charge of it.
Yeah, well, okay, so let's put it like this. What about the gynocrats who talk about, smart black boys, or the ones who are advocates of swirling?
I think we're already there. You can go ahead and say the one. John, I didn't understand what you said, but I think you're trying to say abort black male babies.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't really see that, how you're anti-family in that. And I don't think it's a matter of stupidity. I think that they see that the black woman as a separate entity from the race.
It's an easy way to explain that. Even those women that you're stating make those statements about Xing off the black baby, the black male babies and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And yet who are they still effing?
Anyone who would F them back.
Which is mainly who?
Well, yeah, I mean, just because a person is willing to fuck someone, that doesn't mean that they're
not. And the babies that they will have will most likely be black children. Yeah, like it stated, they want black. They just want the females to be on top of black.
Okay, so let me get.
And they're still racist.
Let me see if I understand this properly. You're saying that they're racist because they like black dick?
No, I'm saying they're racist because they try to put black over all except for female.
But they're putting black under all, and they're doing so deliberately. They understand that their actions is a detriment to the overall state of black people, yet they're still doing it.
Because they're stupid.
That is inconsistent.
They're stupid and they're selfish.
Put it like this. Nothing about the gynocracy's collective action shows that they are working to the betterment of the black race.
And what is the?
Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Let me say this. I think your problem is that SKC just rejects the premise that in order for you to truly be racist, you have to, at some level, be working for the betterment of your race over other races,
or have a desire to see the betterment of your race.
SKC, is your problem what he's saying is that you just generally reject that premise?
Yeah, I absolutely reject it because I know a bunch of. I'm pretty sure when you were working in that factory that you came across some racist white men, and you could definitely tell me right now that none of those racist white men were out doing stuff that would promulgate or push forward the white race, but they were racist as hell.
Which is why I
Which means they were just some idiot racist.
Which is why, Bernard, I stated that someone who wishes for the betterment of their own race. So those people in the factory would fall under that category. However, a typical gynocratic Black female does not. She does not wish for the betterment of Black men. The betterment of Black men, if we ever were to gain any actual power over the race, would mean that the gynocracy would end. Why? Or could possibly end. You see, make no mistake, people, everyone who's listening, that Black women have received, Western women have received more power and more leniency and more freedoms and more abilities under this white rule than they have ever received under any group of people that has ever existed in the planet ever. Therefore, they are not going to. They're not going to destroy that. They worry if Black men were in power, then what if we were to do some Handmaid's Tale shit to them? They worry that if Asian men were in power, what if they start binding feet? They worry
there was actually a poll to prove that GC. I mean, actually, I think me and you talked on that. It was like 2 years ago. When who did a poll that basically they said they rather be under as they called it white supremacy than under Black male leadership or rulership or whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
So I wouldn't define that as racist if they wish to, because for one, the technical definition is to aggrandize one race over all others. And they're aggrandizing another race. They actually hope that another race prosper over all others. So yeah, racism would mean that we are on the same team because we're in the same race. We are not on the same team because we're in the same race. That's why I said I wish that they were. What they're doing is they're using Black nationalism or Black pride as a selling point to their far less valuable vaginas. What they're doing is they're saying, like, listen, I am the only one that can give you what you want. So I am going to sell you on this notion of Black nationalism, therefore increasing the value of my semi-worthless vagina. That is simply what they're doing. It's a marketing tool to Black pussy.
Okay. My counter is that they are racist. They understand exactly what if you want to look at it from that viewpoint, they understand that that they can use Black nationalism as some sort of power play, but as a power play to change the dynamic of how men and women interact with each other. They want Black, but they want Black women to be on top of Black men and for Black men to be subservient to them. That is the type of Black power that they want.
And according
so they're still racist, but they're willing to use whatever leverage possible in order to make sure that the Black woman stays on top.
Including white supremacy. So therefore,
even including that, they'll use that too.
That. So including white supremacy, that being the case, because they are willing to empower another race in order to subjugate their own, that is not racism, sir.
Okay,
now,
so the KKK weren't racist when they met with Garvey.
The way the Black gynocracy sees the power structure is it goes white man, white woman, Black woman, white man. That is how they see the current power structure, and they are comfortable in that.
Were the KKK not racist anymore when they started meeting with Garvey and the Garveyites and all that?
Can I speak on that? Let me speak on that real quick because I think I understand where Game Changer is going. So Game Changer, you just let me know if I'm going down the same road that I think you're coming from. I'm gonna address the Garvey thing. Yeah, that works for the Ku Klux Klan because if you get all the Black people out this land, then guess what? They got superpowers. So yes, they was willing to go with Garvey on that. just like the Ku Klux Klan love the Nation of Islam, speaking about, getting their own land, get them out of America. So in that regard, yes, I think where I'm understanding, and Game Changer, you tell me, am I going down the wrong path? When he's defining the gynocracy as a whole, it goes back to my original argument. Black women was not a part of the gynocracy at the very beginning of the feminist movement. And so in order to build up the gynocracy amongst whites, they was willing to take on Black women. Why? Because that helped them to build up the numbers. So they was willing to give Black women a pseudo power in order to have them come in. And then you have the other groups like the Hispanics, and then they was given a microscopic pseudo power. So collectively, they was able to have that power. So to my understanding, what he's saying is, if you just look at the gynocracy as a whole, and advancing as a whole is advancing women theoretically, regardless of race. When we throw race in it, then we can see you have white male, white female still at the top, with Black female, Hispanic female more towards the bottom. And who is the last in place when it comes to the male structure? It would be Black men. And so that's why, if I think I'm understanding the argument correctly, he is saying that's where race kind of gets pushed to the side, because they are putting their feminism or their womanhood even above race. Is that kind of where you're headed, Game Changer?
Yeah, but I mean, what you're saying is that implies that for anyone in the gynocracy, that race is a factor at all. Many within the gynocracy simply don't care about race at all. They just want to be on top and have their man on the bottom, race aside, no matter what race man that is, really. So it's not really about that at all. Therefore, I can't really classify that as racism. Bernard, would you like to read the super chat? But I do agree with like 90% of where you were going with that. In fact, I agree with 100% of it. I just wanted to add that little caveat.
I guess because a Game Changer so nicely prompted me, I guess I'll read the super chat. It'll look weird if I didn't read it after that. But anyway, mental agility in the building. He says, how is it hard to grasp the concept of racism is someone not liking you simply because of the color of someone's skin? You're overthinking it, GC. So now I know why you wanted me to read that one, because it was directed towards you. So go ahead, GC, you got it.
Yeah, okay. So I do grasp that concepts and many more. And I grasp many more concepts because I overthink things. When you underthink things, you're left with a statement that really doesn't apply. That definition of racism really don't apply, and we both SKC and I understand that and can move the conversation forward because we do overthink things.
Mm-hmm. All right. Good stuff. I'm circling back to a super chat that was put out there earlier by the Orange Pill Nurse. Shout out to you. Thank you for the $20 super chat. And thank you to Demac the Trucker, who did send a Cash App, as he always does. Shout out to Demac the Trucker. Do appreciate you coming through on the Cash App end. But what do y'all think about this? Because I don't even know I don't quite know what to do with this one here. But he says states' rights have never been good for Black people. That's the part I do want to focus on, because well, let's see. Well, states' rights never been good for Black people, and history proves it. The Dixiecrats, now Republicans, in the 40s, whenever somebody got to go back to 1955, I got to pull out the Doc Brown. Whenever somebody got to go back there, I mean, I don't know. I mean, 40s.
Stu, I know you're gonna jump all over this, but I just want to lead off with a question, because I think we might be in the same line of thought on this one.
Yeah.
Is the Constitution a states' right document, or is it more of a majority rule document?
Oh, good question. By definition, it is a states' rights document. What Orange Pill Nursing is speaking of is going back to when the states' rights issue came up, it came up over the argument of slavery. So when the states wanted to maintain slavery and other states said they didn't want slavery, that's how this whole state federal rights issue really came to the forefront. So if we just look at the holisticness of the document in and of itself, we was all supposed to be state over federal. Federal was always supposed to be smaller than the states in the sense of power. The federal was just supposed to cover all of the states, but it was always supposed to be federal over the states. What they're referring to there is a legitimate argument, because again, is the argument over slavery. And then, later on, it got further into segregation. So the federal government had to step in with desegregating the South. Federal government had to step in with the ending of slavery. So it's still a deep embedded argument on many different sides, many different fronts. So, but that's taking it from the historical narrative. So when you hear, go ahead.
No, I don't know. It's like when those type of conversations come up, I think it's I think it's partially biased, because when people make statements like that, and I don't know Orange Pilsner, so first time hearing of them, but it just seems as though people want to look at the lens of America only from the ills and not the gains.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because here's the irony to this. You talk about, use the term the Dixiecrat, which is now the Republicans, and it's real funny to me that, historically we've been Republican all the way up to the 1960s. It's ironic to me that the highest ranking in people, when you look at military, when you look at government, came under the Republican Party. It's ironic to me that if you look at the fact that ECUs could have had the largest payout in our government in the last 10 years, it was under Republicans. If you look at us being military veterans, we get paid more under Republican administration than we do Democratic administration.
I'll make it even larger than that. Because he says here, states' rights has never been good for Black people, and history proves it. Okay, so if we want to look at history as a whole, Bernard brought up earlier, I think he was talking with Ed when he was stating that Black women are making this call right now saying that, oh man, their maternity deaths are so high and blah 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 blah. Okay, well, if it wasn't for these states' rights and it wasn't for all of the stuff that went on with history and stuff, you could be back in Africa in the only place in the world where 2/3 of all maternal deaths occur.
Yeah, but see, here's
so
yeah.
Well, see, when we look at the totality of history, I don't understand how that's even an argument.
Well, see, my whole thing again, I don't live in the 1940s. I wasn't born back then. So I don't know what the hell happened in the 40s other than what they write in books. I'm looking at right now. And I know that in many different cities, many different states, number for number, we dominate. You know what I'm saying? We dominate. And either we're going to get out here and fight, or we're going to get out here and cry. And I'm sick and tired of the crying part. Now, my bold statement is this. Many people said, oh, you baby boomers, you Gen X, when it was time for you to do this, when it was time for you to do that, y'all dropped the ball. All right, now your time is here. So what are we going to do? You're going to tell your generation behind you, you didn't vote because of what happened back in the 1940s? You're going to get out here and say, I'm not going to change the political landscape because of what happened in the 1950s? Or you're going to get out here and make changes and do what needs to be done. Else, the generation behind you can make the same arguments that you tried to make towards us. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is, what we may have missed in the 80s and the 90s, guess what? Let's not miss it in 2022, because I'm not going to sit here and keep arguing over what happened in the 40s, what happened in the 50s. No, we can't fix that. Let's deal with what can we do right here, right now. Maybe in the 40s, the state stuff didn't work. How do you know it ain't gonna work now when you can control your city? The most violent cities are black run, black control. Explain that to me. Chicago, LA.
And that statement does go back to that power discussion we was having with Ed, even though he made a lot of real good points.
Right.
But he made a lot of real good points, but that's the whole power thing. Yes, there's a there, but at the end of the day, it's like when you average into the equation that a lot of these cities, they be having black mayor, black governor, black police chief, black it's like black people running it at every level in a more than 50% black police force. And so it's like what do you call it? I mean, if we built Wakanda, what is it supposed to look like if we did? I mean, come on.
Right.
Like,
and let's be totally honest. We can sit here and talk about our school system, but who we got at the top? They look like us.
There it is. I was about to bring that up. I was talking with Freeman's Journal about that.
I try not to get into. Now, I answered his question because it's a poli-sci question, and that's just basic political science that you can study anywhere. Yeah, if you want to get into, this whole argument about slavery and states' rights and Reconstruction and, yeah, we can get into all of those arguments. But I'm talking about now. We can make changes now. A lot of us got power now. What are we doing with it? It's just like boom. We are, for those of us that's in black male media, we got the mic. What are we doing with the mic? You see what I'm saying? So am I going to now blame white people because I don't set up my platform to empower anybody, to educate anybody, but then I'm going to blame the white man when what am I doing? I can sit up here and blame my father's generation, but guess what? What part do I play? After 18, what part do I play? I tell anybody that's in their 30s, that's fine. You want to blame you want to blame baby boomers? Fine. You want to blame the Generation X? Fine. What are you going to do now? You're over 18. You have the power to vote. What are you going to do? You now have the internet. You have the power to be in mass mail media. What are you doing with it? You have the power to get a visa and a passport and go anywhere in the world you want to go. These are things that wasn't available in the 90s, but they're available now. What are we going to do now? So we can do the old historical arguments. Fine, you can stay there. I'm worried about what are we going to do now and how we're going to move the ball forward now. So with this Roe versus Wade overturn, what are you going to do on your local and state level now?
One thing that's interesting, and I've mentioned Wakanda. I do want to have a lighthearted but serious conversation about the movie coming up, Wakanda Forever in November. That'll be, Black Panther 2, basically. Without Chadwick Boseman, the character that played his sister is going to be the Black Panther. So I mean, so you already got the female guards. Now it's going to be a female king. And she's the smartest one she's the smartest one there that create all the Wakanda technology, and she's the king with female guards. It's like it's literally gonna be a matriarchal ruled country. The most powerful black nation ever imagined is ruled by women. Let's just ruled by black women. Let's throw that out there. But anyway, but we might do a show on that. I may wait till it's closer for the time for that to come out before we do a show on that. But I mentioned Wakanda. I saw everybody saying some Wakanda stuff in there. But no, one thing I want to get into, Paul Game, he said, great show. Thank you very much. I do appreciate everybody who's supporting the stream. But this is, he said, it been like that in the comics. Yeah, I do know his sister at one point was the Black Panther in the comics. I do know that, but still, we can still talk shit about it. Don't worry about it. Nothing is going to stop us from talking shit. That's we good for that at least. But
so when you do, Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I do got a point I want to make about the next move now that Roe v. Wade is been struck down. Something else that
I'll
I see
just
coming
yeah.
down the
Let me
pipeline.
shut up. Then I was just gonna go in on that for a second because there's something else that happened that I don't think you're aware of. They did a Black Thor. Had that dude in Jordans talking about by Odin's fade. Had the hammer and what's that graffiti on the hammer? And when he summons the hammer to his head, he yells out, "Hammer time!"
Man, get out. Send me the link. I ain't gonna do no content on that. I just want to see it. But send me the link of that to that. That's funny. But no, when oh, and as far as I know, Michael B. Jordan ain't gonna be in it. So there will be no T'Challa, there will be no Killmonger in that. It's just looking like it's just gonna be a weird movie. I don't know how they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do with that movie. But anyway, the thing that's next that I saw, that they're going to start doing, and this is where I don't understand. I shouldn't even say conservatives. I should say the far right conservatives. They wanted to do some. They want to do some things to crack down on prevention. I don't have the article and everything ready to go. I didn't plan on talking about it, but we kind of stumbled into it. We went round and round and round about Roe v. Wade and the whole little thing and everything. What is the deal with those who, okay, you don't want abortions to be legal? I understand that. Now, when people talk about all the different pregnancy prevention methods, the little thing that they could, put in a self that I don't know what the shit is called. I don't know what it's called. I ain't gonna even try. But y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know all these little bells, whistles, gizmos, and gadgets they got to prevent a pregnancy. The next wave, the next move is that they're going to be trying to crack down on all of that. Can any of y'all make that make sense? And SKC, I know you're a good you're a good Christian brother. Probably go to a Catholic church and everything. You could can you make sense of that one for me? I understand you want to protect life, but why are you against pregnancy prevention? Make that one make sense.
Are you talking to me or just a general?
I'm gonna throw it to SKC first because I think he may be the I think he goes to a Catholic church.
No, I do not. I need you to repeat your question. I'm trying to understand what you're.
I read a few different things where they essentially were talking about the next wave that they want to do now that they've made abortion illegal-ish. Now what they want to do, they want to crack down on a lot of the pregnancy prevention methods. They want to try to come after some of that. They want to try to I don't know, defund that as much as possible. Like they have an issue with birth control. Like the people who are that far when it comes to being pro-life, that they don't just want to stop abortions from happening. They want to tamper with people's ability to prevent a pregnancy from happening.
Now, from everything that's not
the those aren't the people that are conservative on a lot of the moral, social, what do you call it? You're beyond the culture warrior right there. You're on the Christian right aspect of it. You see what I'm saying? People that want to do all that. So yeah.
From everything that I've read, because it was a wild weekend. I'll talk to you about it later, but I did get an opportunity to read a lot because I was stuck in a place where I couldn't do anything but read, and so I was reading the opinions from both sides of the Dobbs Jackson case. And of course I read some other articles of people going left and right with all of it. I didn't read anything that hinted towards any of that.
Okay.
In the Dobbs Jackson opinions at all. Now, which it kind of leads me to believe that you have some people who are taking some things out of context and are going really, really far with it. Take for instance, I did this short review the other day on Fox Soul where they have like some chick and some two male members of the rainbow community, and
I know
they
what
were
show you're talking about. Yeah,
and they were making those claims, but which prompted me to read the opinion. But when I read the opinions, I didn't see anything like that in there at all.
Okay.
So that prompts me to I'm assuming, but it leads me to believe that maybe that's just some of the I would say overcharge from the other side to try to demonize and make people seem as though they're being absolutely out of pocket with their future aims and what they're really gonna do. Nigga, is they gonna have you hanging next and all this stuff. So it's like,
got you. Okay, good. All right, I'm glad to hear that. I hope that is the case, because if that did start rolling down the pipeline, then I'd have to point my disagreement and my my discontent towards the conservatives on that one, because that's where
that's
where some of them I have seen some like that, and I did okay. I mean, I be looking and reviewing a lot of stuff pre-show, and I saw some of that, but you are right, it probably was something that was rolled out there by the people who are trying to ramp up some detraction. Those type of people do exist. But yeah, I don't. But I hope they don't go that route.
Another thing that those people were stating as well is that they were saying, "Oh, the next," and I've even heard some politicians state this. They were like, "Oh, the next thing is gonna be interracial marriage." It's like, come on, you really think that that Clarence Thomas is gonna? It's like, come on, it's just stuff that's just absolutely out there. You go ahead, Stu.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. There's three areas that's totally disinformation, because I did the research. What the argument, it has nothing to do with stopping birth control at all. What they was talking about was using the pill, what they call the pill that can cause you to have that abortion. That child deletion, and what they're talking about is pills that can go from one state to another. Like if let's say North Carolina says there is no more child deletions, can you go to say Virginia and get the pill via UPS, or FedEx? They're having those discussions, but they're not having this one about stopping that. They're trying to go down another rabbit hole, which I read the opinions. Clarence Thomas never stated those as an opinion, which is, now they're going to attack gay marriage, and that is not the angle that they're going down. That's what they're talking about, is what state is allowed to do what. If let's say one state says, we don't believe in child deletions, and that woman goes to another state and have a child deletion, if she goes back to her state, will she be charged?
Yeah, she's a murderer. She's a murderer in her state as soon as she crossed lines. Yeah,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So
you left pregnant and you came back not pregnant. You're going to jail.
Yeah, so those are the conversations. But I think those are legitimate conversations, and legitimate questions to ask. But
Stu, did you even hear that rumor talking about that they're gonna prevent women from traveling to other places? Like, how you can create a law to prevent interstate travel? That's ridiculous,
Yeah, but you got to remember,
it's going to be full-blown sting operations coming in and doing raids to find Plan B pills. Some of the people got Plan B. She smuggled in a bunch of Plan B pills from a liberal state, and that's not allowed in Alabama. It's gonna be full sting operation. They're gonna be coming at 3 a.m. to confiscate all your Plan B pills.
Yeah, but see, it goes back to, again, taking a deep breath and take the deep dive and do the actual reading and do the actual research. Are there certain arguments that's out there that we might need to look at? Absolutely. Are there situations we need to look at? For me, absolutely. But, we just got to be able to get the emotional arguments off of the table and take the real deep dive and really understand, what's happening.
I'm just trying to get with Stu and Bernard and Free Zone Lou and Nate, so we can make this bread, because we know in some of these states it's gonna be a lot of women that are gonna be wanting to do this vacation abortion travel. So we could put together a little travel agency.
Well, what did we come up with? We was on the show, I think, from Alabama to the next closest state was, I think, Illinois. That's a 9-hour ride. So yeah, we making some tricked out charter buses and everything, and yeah, get them.
Oh, you really look. You really about to get our platform shut down now, right?
I mean, Bernard already got the weave. You get a weave and an abortion. Come on now.
We're in the wrong state. They gonna shut us down.
Come on now. You can get your weave. You can get your weave done while you on the road.
Lord,
yeah, man.
No, he about to have me in divorce court, and I'm gonna be up there crying.
Oh man.
But hey, I'm gonna get off of here. Did you have any more questions?
Oh no, I'm good. I initially did want your opinion on that. Can you be pro-black and pro-choice? So you weighed in quite well on that one. But no, I'm all set. I might be wrapping this up pretty soon myself.
All right.
We two and a half hours in. But
let me throw this out there. I'm going to be on Suzette Speaks this Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. So if y'all want to come through 7 p.m., I'm gonna be up there chopping it up. Supposed to be the conversation of when do you relinquish your power to a woman? I think y'all gonna be interested. Yeah. That something in that regards. But then it's open mic, so I don't know. I think it's open mic, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm gonna see if my Manosphere car get taken that night.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. GC, you got any know, but thanks, Uncle Stu. Appreciate it.
All right, now y'all have a good one.
All right. GC, you got anything else you wanted to throw out there or add onto this?
Not really much. Just I agree with SKC on the tactic that they're trying to use. Basically the scare tactic, like, okay, this is a step in this particular direction, so you got to stop it before it gets to the government saying you can only have sex if you want to risk having a baby. I think that it's a scare tactic. Basically, they're going to try to get rid of the condoms.
Well, I mean, listen, I supported and was in favor of gay marriage, and I still think they should be able to get married. But it was a bunch of crazy people on the internet said, and they were like, "What's next? There's going to be transgender story time at the preschool." I was like, "Man, get your crazy ass out of here!" But it do be transgender they be having trans people reading books to kids and smuggling
Bill Barr, huh?
smuggling all kind of gay stuff in Disney movies, and so they going full gangster with it. You can't. So the slippery slope, the crazy holding up the cardboard sign, it's a slippery slope. People, they ended up being right when it came to once gay marriage. That's the start. Once you let that through, then this is what's going to happen next. They ended up being right. So.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that happens from time to time where, slippery slopes do take you into strange places. I don't see this as being one of them.
Right. Okay.
But once again, this is a slippery slope that we already went down. We've already went down this slippery slope because you had, Roe from Roe versus Wade saying, like, listen, I was just a young lady that, that was in a bad situation and wanted to get out of it. I told some lies, and 100 million deleted babies later, this is where we're at. So that's a slippery slope we're already in. I think that this is us getting out of an existing slippery slope. And keep in mind that
I agree with that.
And keep in mind that there was a time when abortions was illegal and it wasn't taken that far. There wasn't a time when gay marriage was illegal and it wasn't taken that far. So I don't see that happening. But once again, they're fear mongering.
Yeah. No. Okay. Cool. What in the hell? I don't know why I even click on some of these comments. He says, "What difference does your money make? The state gonna come and take it after you die with no kids. That alone makes you a slave. Why did you at me in that? Like, what is? I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
He's like, I got kids. What you talk? Yeah, man. I don't know. Sometimes people be making some comments where you just it makes for good fodder though.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we about to wrap this up. SKC, stay put. Don't leave, because I do want to talk to you about something behind the scenes. But we about to wrap this thing up. But shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate everybody who came through, super chatted, like, share, subscribe, did anything to support the stream anyway. So shout out to RM. She sent me that Thor video that you was talking about. SKC. I mean Black Thor. The Black Thor video. Shout out on the Cash App end. I think the only person that came through on the Cash App end, I believe, was D-Rock Den, who always come through dropping something on the Cash App. Do appreciate you. Appreciate everybody in the building. And with that said, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.